Eridon, the Forsaken Winds reunited at the top of the Training Grounds Hill, south of the Nora Fort, after you had temporarily split the party to assault the front gate and infiltrate within. After discussing that time apart, it was revealed that although Jokel's true location was determined to be Town Hall, not the warehouse within Nora Fort, Rhea was unfortunately slain in the warehouse battle with the Reaver. With the remaining Durastian troops' attention, though, fixed on the blazing weird fire chaos at both the warg pens and now the fort, you all had an avenue to sort of sneak around toward Town Hall directly, trying to rescue Jokel and potentially anyone else there. And after deceiving your way in fairly successfully, you ended up in a fight with Thane Gaspard, a mage from Durast, given authority of Force Hollow. He had a Deadeye assistant with him, one of the famed Wraithwatch type individuals, a individual of high skill level, and then animated statue forms of both Jokel and a wood elf woman. And that is where we pick things back up. In the immediate aftermath of that skirmish, you are all currently left in the Thane's room, having just ransacked the place, scrounged up what you could from tabletops and shelves and otherwise, looting the body of Thane Gaspard. What are you all doing in the aftermath of that battle?
What day is it? Did you just say?
I did not say there.
I
But
love
it
day of
is
week and month.
perfect. Let me just find that. I'm actually surprised I hadn't.
Does the
put that in
Thane
the
have a
thing.
calendar?
I checked the Thane's watch.
The Thane's watch full with batteries and all.
It's a sundial.
Boom, boom, boom. I definitely have to go back. Okay. This is technically past midnight. Your assault on For's Hollow was engaged on Tyrdas, the 12th of Evening Star, functionally Tuesday, December 12th. It's past midnight, so now it is technically early morning, still midnight-esque, the 13th of Evening Star.
What day of the week?
Middas. But seemingly successful in your attempt to defeat and kill the Thane and rescue, by way of Tome of the Dragon's Horde, 2 statued individuals. What are you guys doing?
Having just helped Roulette work through that, Toby's now going to take inventory of people's well-being. So Toby's at 10 hit points. Who else is close to death's door?
Toperian waves up his hand. He goes, "I'm fine," and burps out blood. He's at 8 HP.
Okay. And I remember Jiri taking
I
some
am
big
way
damage.
worse than both of you. I'm about to die.
Okay.
Jiri's at 14 HP.
I will heal both of you. I already used that thing, didn't I? My healing hands. I did. So
I do believe so, yeah.
So I think this is worth it. It's my last 2 uses of magic for the day.
You don't have to.
But I'd rather us not go down to single blows. Any
Okay,
errant
Telperion
arrows that
doesn't
come
want it.
down.
You can
So
use both on me then.
I will use one on Telperion and one on Jiri and take the 5 temporary hit points to myself.
Ooh, so how much healing is
Ring-
that?
Let's go ahead and do...
activating.
Let's do the first one for Jiri.
Ooh.
14 healing.
Oh, I feel way better.
And then for Telperion, 9 healing. Sorry, bud.
It was more than double what I had.
Don't have damage.
Thanks, Toby.
Okay. Anything else we need to get out of here?
As your Ring of Healer's heroism glows slightly, imbuing you with extra confidence as you heal them, you just remember that not more than a couple hundred yards away is where you first got that ring here in town.
I thought he was gonna say there's an NPC who's dying and you don't have slots now. I went real dark with that. Oh, the ring.
DM, while I'm kneeling down, I'm gently tucking the tome into my backpack. I'm right in front of the weird fireplace. Uh, is there any retrievable like flask or anything in there, or is this literally just like a magical fireplace that is actively being kept ablaze by weird fire somehow?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Bert
20.
B.
There does not seem to be any flasks in there. What you're noticing is that you're just learning in this moment a property of Weirdfire. There are several thin rods of glass in there, set up almost as if a campfire of sticks would be, and that is holding aloft the Weirdfire blaze. It's not spreading past the glass. The ceramic material, sort of the napalm of the Weirdfire, coating those glass cylinders and blazing from them, but not spreading on glass like you saw it even spread on stone, even if it didn't destroy stone.
This is like a gas fireplace with fake firewood.
Kind of. Yep.
Gotcha.
Definitely real Weirdfire in there, but just on glass sticks.
What?
The defeat in Kurt's voice when you simplified his regal arcane fire to electric fireplace.
No, I just know I know how to break it. Roulette will probably stand up and say, "If everyone can at least walk on their feet, we should get going. We got to get to those boats and get out of town. That Deadeye is going to come back, or at least alert people to come back."
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, as we leave, we have an opportunity to do one of two things. Well, I think it would be a wasted opportunity to just leave the body in the office. Jerry could leave as Thane Gaspard, or we could take it and lay it in the street so they could see that the leader's been killed, and it would decentralize them.
Or we can stealth out of here as well.
Leave the body as we stealth out, if we want to send that kind of statement.
We gotta bring the body. This is our only chance to pretend to be him.
I almost don't
Wait,
want
why do
to
we-
send a statement, because that will bring more attention to this place. Which
Why do we have to bring the body, Jerry? We can just leave the body and get out of here. They'll find it eventually. He's supposed to leave in the morning, so someone will walk in, they'll find it, and Toby, to your point, they'll be even more scared that someone got in and managed to kill him.
We don't want anybody to know he's dead. Then we can't pretend to be him later when we need him.
That's true. And
I thought he was about to flee anyway.
as
We could take his
Grizzly-
pulse.
That's what I'm saying. We should flee right now with his horse, or at least I should, because wait, where was he going again? In a lad or something like that?
Alandris.
Oh, I'll read this letter. This will explain some things.
You open up the previously broken seal that you almost got a chance to read last time. And it reads, with official letterhead from Olandris, you know to be the nearest city to Forest Hollow, about a day's ride west on horseback. From the desk of the Count and Contessa of Olandris in New Durast.
Oh God!
To the attention of the Thane at Colony 5. Your dutiful hold of your location's position in New Durast is regarded with the utmost appreciation. The demands and interests of a talented arcane practitioner such as yourself likely keep you busy, but we suspect you may be interested in an upcoming opportunity in Olandris. We would like to formally invite you to attend the estate dinner held at this month's end. The Talon plans to attend as well, as the event will align with this month's inspection. Perhaps you will even find an opportunity to plead your case for promotion. We, of course, sing your praises when possible. Alas, the matter is out of our hands to resolve personally. Should you accept this invitation, you may consider accompanying the next supply caravan's route to Olandris in 2 weeks' time. We look forward to hearing a personal account of the value you've surely contributed to such a critical position in the Empire's rule. Regards, M and L.
Wow.
Christopher, as a as the tail end of deduce potentially still in my head, knowing that I can put a statue of a creature into the book, can I put a slain creature into the book, considering it is meat?
Now it's an object.
You think no.
Okay.
Similarly to how one of you suspected Rhea could not be stored in the book in that
Oh,
way.
true.
But a statue is a little bit different, especially when it is regarding decomposition.
I don't enjoy pursuing this line of thought too frequently, but we could ask him questions as well.
Oh, we're gonna need to for sure.
Good thing none of us are like averse to dead bodies because we're really just around them a lot. So, question: is there a date on this letter? Because was he going early, or was the trade caravan leaving tonight? Which doesn't sound likely. Maybe he got this letter and fled.
This letter does not have a date.
He implied that he was fleeing, or that he was rushing out. I think the caravan route has not taken place yet, I would suspect, but how soon that would be, I do not know.
I guess if we ask his body questions in the morning, we could inquire. All right, we gotta take him on.
Carrying another.
Yeah, you heal me up. I can be strong for this.
Oh, Jerry, whoever was going through his stuff, pick up as many of his like suitcases and shit as possible. So, Jerry, to your point, we wanted to make it seem like he's gone.
You burn him in the fire or put them in the bag.
We want them to think he's still alive somewhere, so that I don't know.
We should leave as him, or I should leave as him, so that that people see him. That way, in case that that guy that ran away tries to say that he's dead, there's rumors that he's not dead.
Jiren, you could say that you killed the intruders and then you burnt their bodies in the weird fire or something, or that they're in your quarters, and you could just you should say we died.
Yeah.
If we run into anyone.
Okay.
And they disappeared. They were made out of ice, and they melted after I killed them. That's why the room is all wet.
Right.
Okay, let's.
How are we concealing his actual body?
We're gonna take it with us. We needed it.
I could light my candle in the darkness, and Toperian and I could run in the shadows.
Well, I'm just gonna
roll
hold
it up
it
in a carpet. Let's get a carpet. Oh wait, I've got a carpet. Roll them up in my carpet.
I'm sure we've got blankets. I pull out a blanket from my.
But I haven't used this carpet. I've been carrying it around for so long. Wouldn't it be fun to roll up a dead body in it?
All right, you do that, and I just bump the body onto the carpet for you.
I didn't think I was gonna do it.
No, this is your idea.
Both of you away and cast plant growth and grows like wicker and all sorts of like vinage around the body and encapsulates it and creates a capsule.
Wow, I didn't know that you could do that, Rome.
We bigger a lot shorter with you guys around to interrupt us.
We need to get going. So, Jerry, if you can don the face of this now same thing.
Like that.
I'll help grab some luggage.
Yeah, grab something. I've got Rhea.
Wait, Rhea, don't you still look like a soldier?
I have like Durastian armor on, actually. Yeah. So, where did we leave the other elf? Oh, it's in your locket. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, Jerry, I'll keep carrying Rhea. You can say it's a prize or some shit. I'll put the helm on so I look like a Durastian knight, and I'll be able to walk behind you.
No, don't we need to go to wherever my cart is that I'm taking?
We need
Let's
to just
steal the cart and then drive home with it.
We need to get to the boats because if there's going to be a driver on that cart, and I don't want to have to kill anyone else tonight.
We'll knock him out.
Are we trying to not be seen?
No, we want to be seen.
We want to be seen.
Yes, these guys got to see me still alive.
I see. Okay.
Or this guy's still alive. I'm not him yet, but I will be in just a moment.
Maybe you could shout something that's like, Dang it, now the roads aren't safe. I'll have to take a boat to the tri-post. To explain why you took a boat instead of the horse.
That's a good idea.
That's perfect.
Well, let's go tell. Okay, so Roulette, you and I go talk to the horse people. Tell them we don't need their services anymore. I'm taking a boat.
That's perfect. I can relay that message, and yeah, you and I can go out.
Okay.
Let's just.
And everybody else take the dead bodies.
Am I not going to carry Rhea?
I
don't know.
I'll carry Rhea. You carry the Thane, because the Thane's lighter, and I assume he's lighter. As the stronger one, I would think Telperion should hold the one that we care about more.
I will carry.
If you're gonna drag a body in the ground, it could be the Thane.
I will carry the mystical bramble suitcase that is now the Thane's dead body. And no one will think weirder of it because he's a magician, and that's what he has weird luggage.
Yes.
Are you all intending to exit town hall?
Yes, Jiri casts disguise self real quick. Makes
For,
himself look like the thing.
for the bulk of the planning, Telperion was actually at the bookcase looking for anything. I want to understand what this guy studied and what he gave a shit about. Like, if these are his books and what he brought of all his precious items to make. Like, I just want to understand him better.
Sure. Go ahead and make a general intelligence check.
Oh, that's a 5.
5 total.
Yeah.
You look through the books, and very quickly, there's such a volume of books here that none are leaping off the shelf, as this one's about arcane stuff, this one's about history. Like, it would require, and they're not all beautifully labeled on the spine. It would just require a real effort to start digging through his personal library.
At random, I just pull one off the shelf and shove it in my bag.
Okay.
And the only other thing I want, which I think is pretty easy, are there like empty vials around? The herbalist wants to stock up.
Yeah, you could probably find an additional 1 vial that was left ungrabbed, but it's also likely that Jiri and I think maybe Rome was assisting him, just shoving the bag full of stuff. So there might be more things in there. But you can certainly get 1 nice glass blown vial. And Book, go ahead and roll a D100.
All right. 33.
Cool. Okay. Jiri, you assume the guise of Thane Gaspard. Roulette, you're still in your soldier outfit carrying the bramble vine case, we'll say.
Yeah.
The rest of you follow Telperion, Toby, Rome, and normal.
I think we are gonna
normal
head
appearance.
straight for the docks.
Great.
Or whatever
Okay.
makeshift docks they've established.
Okay.
Roll of carpet.
Okay.
Rhea's just in a bunk.
I would have put her in a blanket. No, I'm not trading. I have the bramble one.
On the way out, I said, Roulette, actually, you're going to be seen, and it would make sense for Drastin to be holding Rhea. It would, like, give the Thane story credibility. I can take the disguise thing.
I will wrap Rhea in a blanket.
Okay. Sounds good. You exit the front of Town Hall out the way you came, and one of the buildings very near to you is ablaze in weird fire, dropped as a carpet bomb by Rome in bird form. As well as there are fires breaking out throughout the town, mostly to the west. Not all weird fire, some normal fire. Everyone give me a perception check.
Starting the night out strong.
unsurprisingly, Toby and Rome kicking it off with really high numbers. None of you see any soldiers or knights or reavers or bugbears and wargs in your immediate vicinity. And you guys identify, okay, if some of us are going to the docks, this could be an opportunity to split up. If some of you are running east to the lake side, and then if Thane Gaspard and his knight accompaniment are going to head westward to be seen by other troops, you could certainly do so as well. However, Toby and Rome, before you guys start making your way eastward toward the docks, the lakeside where canoes likely are posted up, you hear something off in the distance. Over the roar of fire, you can hear shouts and the clashing of weapons. There is fighting going on that you guys are not currently part of. But you are welcome to continue in the directions you guys were interested in.
I think this is perfect. I think the bugbears have turned on the soldiers.
Wait, Rome, can you become a bed and check that? That's worth knowing.
Tim, you're muted. Or
Alex said yes, I believe.
Yeah, I can turn into a bird.
I could read your mind when you came back. If that's allies, we should know. Or if it's the bugbears, that's going to help us travel home more safely.
Sure thing. I am going to transform into a raven.
Okay.
And
Transforming into a vine-covered small raven bird, you're able to quickly take flight and making it 100, 200 feet up and to a distance westward to see what's going on in the distance, you can very clearly see a series of bugbears riding their wargs, running with their poleaxes behind them, swiping at Durastian soldiers, and Durastians firing crossbow shots at the bugbears. It is true chaos on the west side of town. You also see some bugbears get shot and fall off their wargs, and the wargs take off, leaving their riders behind and making their way southward and out of the terrain of town to just abandon ship. There is all number of chaotic moments happening in the west.
That makes me feel a lot better about our mission.
I swoop to fly back, and as I'm flying back, I translate that information telepathically to Telperion and land on his shoulder.
I relay it all. This is Jiri, it is extremely important that anyone who survives think the Thane is alive, because we could have you go to that ball in Olandris as the Thane, so no one can suspect he died. Minus the person who fun.
Yes, I will make sure everyone believes that I am still alive.
Amazing. That was very
I want to punch you more than usual, so nice job.
okay, Jiri, let's start edging around this building, and the second we see someone, you shout something and then we retreat. If we see a bugbear, we need to run immediately.
Okay.
The rest of you making your way toward the lake.
Reluctantly at this point, we will split.
We've got Rome as a messenger bird or something if we need to have her bridge the gap. Jiri, don't forget to make everyone feel like shit. Like they don't matter, just you.
Just like you don't matter yourself, Telperion. Got it. I'll make them feel like you must feel on a daily basis.
Good starting point. Go with that.
Telperion, Rome, and Toby Rama, you are able to flee eastward completely unencumbered. Keeping a low profile still out of habit, if anything, but running past the more rural towns and cornfields on the way eastward to the lake is relatively easy. And you do come across a series of simple wooden plank docks roped to a series of canoes. There's perhaps a dozen or so of them docked there.
We take 2. How many people could fit in one?
Probably 3 or 4 individuals. It would be a tight squeeze, but 4 individuals maybe to a boat.
Let's take 2 and we could cut down. Toby, can you take one for now?
Okay. But Roulette and Jiri, in the form of a knight and Thane, you guys move westward. In your approach, am I understanding correctly that your goal is to be seen by Durastians and give them a message of retreat, but not be seen by bugbears that seemingly are now antagonizing Durastians?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And Jiri will be like constantly like saying stuff to Roulette to just kind of get my voice out there so that in case anybody like hears, we don't see anybody but hears us, they might come out. So I'll just be like, yes, hurry along, soldier. We must get to my cart immediately.
I am going to pull something up really quickly. You continue westward for a moment, kind of picking your spots carefully, but moving between buildings in a way that doesn't look like you're hiding, but tactically is trying to limit visibility to the other area of the chaos in town. As you go, you hear, Sir, in here. And a
Who's
voice
there?
seems to have come from a window that is sort of cracked open. And as you guys stop your gate and kind of back up, you can see a Durastian soldier hiding in the building saying, Sir, the bugbears have gone wild. They thought you were lost cause. They've been slaughtering us. We've taken some of them down, but they're strong.
Soldier,
Protect the
reveal
thing.
yourself. Reveal yourself. Come here.
He pushes up the window and says, Sir, it's probably dangerous for you to be out in the streets. You may want to get in here.
I must get to my carriage immediately. There were assassins. Fortunately, I was able to defeat them.
That's wonderful news, but Thane, there's no one to man your cart in the stables. Well, look. And he points off in the distance, and in a small building, wooden, next to the old, long-abandoned chapel of Forest Hollow, a small building burns, and you guys are now close enough where you think you can hear the shrieks of dying animals.
Soldier, are there any horses remaining?
Unless some of the knights had them out on rounds throughout the town. No, at night we always stable them.
All right, where are your fellow soldiers? Where is anybody else?
They're either slain, hiding, or off at the pens in the fort, holding themselves against the bugbears.
I order you to flee the town. Head to the nearest village nearby. I don't pay attention to such things.
Olandris, then.
Elandris, yes. Lead Elandris. Tell them what has happened here. Let them know that I am still alive and I will be escaping via the docks instead.
Very well. Sir, the others, they're not going to fare well against the rest of the bugbears up at the fort. Don't you think I might maybe
Sacrifice
fort is already
you
lost.
to the docks?
Silence, you! The fort is already lost. You've been given your orders.
That's what I'm saying, sir. If you don't mind, I think I'd prefer to come with you.
He's got his coterie already, soldier. You're to flee directly to Elandris. I suggest you go north first because those bugbears look like they were headed south. You might want to make sure you stay quiet, too.
Yes, of course.
And if you
What
find
the
any of
hell
your
has
other...
happened tonight?
What was that?
Who were the ones that attacked you in your room at town hall?
that half elf, the one that's been, no, half orc, the one that's been plaguing us for so long.
Oh. Interesting. Oh. And he looks at now the body in Roulette's arms. I am glad to see she's been dealt with. No other threats then. She must have had allies.
She did. They had some sort of strange magic about them, but fortunately I am a powerful wizard.
Hmm?
Very well. Well handled, sir. Your expertise is. I'll be going now.
Yes, and make sure you complain for me about the claw that was supposed to be protecting me. He fled. That coward, when I find him, left me to die. When I find
Of
him,
course.
there'll be
And
trouble.
he begins to back up and stealthily flee, and you overhear him mumbling to himself in his sort of panicked state. Magical allies? Oh, maybe I should tell them at Elandris about this. And continues to run off.
The magical eyes are dead. I killed them too. Don't forget that part. I said that in the story.
Is the story?
He runs off, and you guys are left with no visible on other soldiers in the nearby area.
Immediately sprinting east towards the docks.
You guys are welcome to do that. If you're heading east, you are able to meet up with your allies who have canoes unhooked, unwrapped with rope, and ready to sail eastward. You guys go ahead and get in and set sail.
Let's go.
Should I put a hole in these boats so no one else can use them? Or would that be suspicious?
Just leave.
Couldn't be.
Everything's fine.
Well, you guys are able to sail off into the night, the only light of the moon reflecting off the waters, and you're able to keep relatively close to the coast. And knowing that Ayenalad was fairly close to the Alealor ruins, you suspect a boat's journey around the coast and then into the forest is going to be much less threatening than a journey directly into the forest when it comes to threats of wildlife.
Awesome.
However, it may be difficult to rest on the boats. Additionally, as your journey begins, I would like everyone to please make a Constitution saving throw, having pushed yourselves rather far throughout this day without a long rest so far.
Oh,
Yikesies.
How about Rome and Telpi? Everyone staves off the assault of exhaustion for now, except for Jiri, who as soon as you trying to keep up, well, usually you're fast, but some of that is magical speed. But you've just been drained. You're extremely thirsty. And you hop in the boat, and as soon as they set sail, you start to almost lose consciousness. You push past it, but you are so exhausted. You do suffer a level of exhaustion.
Ooh, I will not be helping to row. I will be taking a nap.
An hour goes by and more. Is there anything you guys are going to do, knowing that it takes 6 to 8 hours of land travel directly through the forest? It may take longer than that on canoe boats if you're trying to get back to the Alealor ruins.
I guess we could rest.
I think maybe we could rest on the coast and then make the forest trip tomorrow or today, I guess. But
If we take turns rowing, we could recoup a bit on the boat. Short rest. A bit on the boats. Probably can't. I mean, I know Jiri can sleep on the boat.
Do
But-
you want to finish
let's-
the boat journey, take a short rest on the coast, and then head in?
Also anchor and just sleep on the water.
Honestly, I would rather just short rest and push through. I don't want to take a long rest in the woods.
Let's just get going.
I don't even need a short rest. Let's just push through.
Let's just push through. I meant like you can just like nap while I row.
Oh, sure, yeah.
If you wanted.
I just mean we don't need to anchor or go pull off the water and rest for a
8
while.
hours now.
Yeah. I'm ready to see some friendly faces.
We've got Rhea. We've got both elves. Telperion, I'm sure you remember, but you can speak to the necklace and maybe give some reassurance there that it's gone successfully, or as close as you could get.
Right. And I'll whisper some updated status, and I'll just say I'm gonna leave you in there for your own comfort, and let you out in a bit. But we're heading to safety.
Gonna move us to a different background. I know you guys are sailing along the coast, but you'll still be able to see forest, and eventually may get to a spot where suitable for camping. But as you're sailing onward, you're able to whisper some words of encouragement, and hopefully they are seen or heard by Mindirin, housed within the necklace. You guys are able to take turns. However, even an hour in, you realize that the threat of exhaustion is going to continue unless you get yourself a short or long rest in some way. Long rest to stave off the long-term effects of it. But every hour you continue, you could be threatened by exhaustion again.
Can we do like alternating rowers to like slow our pace, but have the other person on the boat? I'm assuming we're on like 3 boats, or I don't know, 2 or 3 boats, and have it be the people who are not rowing get a short rest by taking a brief nap.
Sure. We
So
can.
it
You
takes
guys
longer,
can absolutely
but-
do that, and getting a short rest will stave off exhaustion's approach, but not put it to bed entirely. But let's start with this. On the first hour, who's rowing?
Wait, before we start rowing, could I attempt to use my Caneloff sail to like kind of set up a like wind catch? Like a little, like not use it magically, but use it to like kind of catch the wind.
Make it a sailboat.
Like a sailboat, yeah. I could use my Hedwig's cane, you know what I mean, in the middle of
Sure.
the ship and prop
You
it up.
are able to do that. The wind is not conveniently perfectly blowing east in such a way that it does the same job as rowing. It will occasionally help the rowing effort, occasionally it hurts it, but the wind is not a huge factor right now, so it will still require that an individual row.
I think Toby would like to do the first, or at least start with rowing one of the boats.
Okay, on one of the boats, Toby.
But
can
Pyrian
start
will do
with
the
one.
other.
Okay.
We had split up into 2 boats anyway.
Roulette, Rome, and Jiri then are free to take a short rest, restoring hit die, etc. And then Toby, Rama, and Telperion, I need you each to make another Constitution saving throw.
$11.
Telperion, even your muscles begin to fatigue as the difficulty to overcome exhaustion is a little more powerful the farther you fight it. However, now that you've taken a point of exhaustion, you can't, due to just staying awake, you can't suffer 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels of exhaustion. The fact that you have taken a point means that's as exhausted your body's likely going to go for the foreseeable future, such as Jiri as well. But Toby, Rama, you push past your enhanced alertness, just keeping you in the moment. Your adrenaline still, also you're less accustomed to the adrenaline than Telperion, a soldier, so it still is keeping you fully engaged and in the moment.
Yeah, I think Toby is very like staring at the coastline, at the stars, just really narrowing his mind to a point of only worrying about the journey, that he can ignore the body fatigue and the emotional fatigue of Rhea laying dead next to us, and is very intentionally tunneling.
Okay. Is there anything Rome, Jiri, or Roulette want to describe about their short rest? Are you guys all just literally laying down in the hull of this canoe and sleeping, or are you just like sort of passively being aware of your surroundings and otherwise just literally resting, just meditating almost?
As Rome is going through a short rest, she's transforming into more of like to match her environment. So she's like all like seaweedy and like kelpy, seagrass and stuff like that. She's like kind of hanging over the side of the ship with her seaweeds drifting in the water.
Very cool.
Roulette is just staring off at the horizon, holding the backpack very, very tight and very close to herself. Definitely not sleeping, but just kind of holding the backpack that has the tome in it, nice and tight.
Jiri will find whoever's lap he can lie on to get a nice like headrest to nap, and then he'll wake up periodically to chug like a ton of water, and then go back to sleep.
As the hour concludes and you feel fully satisfactorily quenched in your thirst, you just feel the returning presence of your father in your mind, as his power restored is able to come back to you now. You certainly get the benefits of your short rest and all that entails. Second shift, are we giving Tobirama and Telperion a shift of rest as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Jiri has already suffered exhaustion. Roulette, are you going to row one of the boats? And Rome, are you going to row one of the boats?
Yep, I will row.
I'd say like myself and Jiri will split, or myself and Rome we'll half split the one of the boats.
Okay. You guys have not suffered exhaustion yet, but you did just short rest, so you're fine. Telperion and Toby, you can go ahead and short rest, recovering hit die, etc. Any other things that come back short rest wise?
Oh,
Because I know there are some.
I'm gonna roll some hit dice.
Yeah, many of you may be able to heal back to relatively full.
I'm rolling 6.
Short rest.
If you hit short rest, you can do that.
I know. I was just thinking about what Telperion would be doing right. I think that for the short rest, Telperion spends the time like he kind of takes off a piece of his armor one at a time and just like inspects because he was just brutalized, and so he's kind of like doing the like oxygen mask in the airplane first, like he's like taking care of like where he's been wounded, and then seeing everyone else.
As a note, your magically reinforced mithril armor has been scuffed in the occasional groove where a blade has hit it and stuff. It's not pristine per se anymore like it has been. However, it's so reinforced that most of the wounds that ailed you over the course of the night were where people hit where your armor wasn't, or stabbed you and it slipped into a segment where the armor sort of was segmented, a slot there. So most of your armor is still in relatively clean shape, even if scuffed and nicked a bit. How about you, Toby?
get 60.
I think similar to Roulette, just really just staring and not. I think until he sleeps, he's gonna really try and avoid letting the stress of tonight catch up to him.
Well, now that everyone has had a chance to at least short rest, shifts are able to go back and forth and get you several hours further. And unless there's anything you guys want to cover conversationally or otherwise on this ride, dawn will begin to approach while you're still on the water.
Roulette, Rome, you guys might have noticed this on the hill, but before Telperion and Jerry caught up to us, Mirage sent me a message.
Mirage?
Yeah, it caught me off guard, and I almost forgot about it, but he said, from the king, the elves and the Villian are convening in the Barrens. They're working on breaking down the ritual in that temple, presumably. And he said Cork can collect us. Because the moot can collect us because the moot is approaching.
Oh. That would have... maybe he could have gotten us off that hilltop, but I guess, no, we had to kill that thing and get Jokel. Yeah. That's good that they're working on that.
It seems at a level right now. I'd like to get back to the ruins and at least give some of the people an update.
The moot can,
get
as important as it is, that moot can wait. We've got friends and wounds to tend to.
Yeah.
But that's good to know.
Did he say?
Here, hold on. And I'll take out the Mirage Sending Stone, and I'll pass it over to Toby. If you want to just, I don't know, give him an affirmation or something, just say, message received, something.
Okay.
Did you say when the moot was going to be?
Say that again, Mike.
Did you say when the moot was going to be?
He said approaching rapidly, so that could be part of what I ask here. It might be that might be annoying, but
I guess once the sun's up, yeah.
I'll let the sun rise, and then I'll think of a message.
Okay.
I'll leave 3 words available for Jerry says hi.
Just amend the text of the spell to be 22 words.
I also,
Jiri.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I also don't think I did this in the session. I think I would have given like a 1-word response to that Mirage thing. Just kind of
that's
like,
fine.
Oh, yeah.
Understood. Like, not to.
Yeah, you guys were
worry
fairly
about it.
preoccupied, but yeah, quick acknowledgement of received or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Jiri, as you're all sailing, and at one of the points where you're able to stay awake, probably during drinking, you hear that voice in your mind say, "You have wielded our magic well as of late. I am surprised with your increased competence. Though, even that almost wasn't enough. Are you all right?"
Oh, I'm great, Dad. Thanks for asking. How are you, by the way?
I feel freer, in a sense. It was the first time you allowed more of my presence to emanate from you. That shadow that you released from your body in the warehouse, it wasn't just magical, it was more of me leaking out. and it felt nice. I am pleased you have learned how to do this.
Well, you and me make a great pair, Dad. Don't worry, I'll get my friends to head back to Jarland soon. We'll get your throne back.
Daenor over Jarland, but yes.
Daenor. Yeah, we're gonna go there. We gotta find my mom, I know. Figure out how to get back to Jarland. Yep. On the to-do list, Dad, don't worry.
Yes. I have learned to grant some semblance of trust your way, but your words don't always give me confidence. Remember that there are answers for both of us, lying deep in Durast. You do well to remember it. Always.
Yeah, answers are cool, but stories are better. I bet you there's a lot of good stories in Durast.
I will also ask you. I couldn't make contact at the time. You were fairly drained of my power. That dagger that you grabbed off the Thane's attendant. Do you still have it on you?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Would you grasp it for a moment again?
Yeah, I was gonna have Roulette look at it, but okay, you can look at it first.
And I will take it out of my tabby pocket.
Okay. As you take it out, once more, you feel the uncomfortable cold. As while it's in your hand, the blood seems to like ebb away from your hand. Strange. And through your skin, you can see the black, thin liquid tendrils like blood, but a darker sludge of the hex metal within your body. Try to fight against this sensation by working their way up toward your hand, but they struggle to get to where the blade is, almost like they're repelled from it somehow. I can sense something from this blade, but I'm unable to make contact. It's strange. Pardon me, Jiri. And from your other arm summons into your other hand your hex blade, the Vanta Black Levin Blade of Shade.
Jerry?
Now holding two Vanta Black weapons in each of your hands.
You okay over there, bud?
Well, everything that Jiri has been saying to Father Adras, he's been saying out loud. So you've heard him kind of like conversing with himself.
Yeah, I'm good, Roulette. Actually, Roulette, we're probably gonna need you to take a look at this dagger that I found. Papa Adras don't really like it too much.
Oh. Okay. If you want, and I'll scooch in the canoe a little bit. If you want to give it over, I can take a look at it.
Hey, Dad, can Roulette look at this cool dagger? She's really smart. She'll figure it out.
Yes, we should let her use her knowledge, but let me try one thing. And you see Jiri like fighting to press these two weapons together, but they're like repelled away from each other almost magnetically. And Jiri, this is a little uncomfortable for you because it's not really all of your own force of will. You feel like your arms are being puppeted, forced together by some force, and eventually they come closer and closer to touching, and then they touch. Jiri, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, fuck me. Roulette has one of her tools out to cast a spell, but is not readying it.
Jiri, you're addled by a pain in your mind, and you just see a flash of memory back to the prison beneath Talonreach Keep in Durast, but you're immediately shunted out of it and are prevented from taking any psychological damage or pain. And you find yourself still holding those two blades in your arm.
Oh, ouch, headache. Roulette, take a look at this dagger.
Just give it over.
Yeah, Daddy Address couldn't figure out how to use it. Maybe you can.
I will reach out and I will take the dagger and I will put away the tool that casts catapult because I thought for certain it was just gonna go. And I'll take the dagger. Having seen the sludge on his bare forearm, I'm assuming do I know
through his skin, not topical on his forearm, through the skin, like it was trying to, like there were veins trying to work their way up, but couldn't quite make enough contact with the weapon.
Do I see anything as I put it back and forth between my hands? Do I see any other similar subdermal reactions on my hands?
As you take it, just feels like the cold touch of steel or iron. Nothing uncomfortable.
Gotcha. I will set the backpack between my feet, and I will take out my tools for Identify, and I will ritually cast Identify on the Vanta Black Blade.
You may add Vanta Black Dagger to your inventory.
Sexy.
And along with that, you're going to obviously read the properties of that weapon, but you also get a sense, almost in the sense that Detect Magic lets you know schools of magic affecting a thing. You also get the sense that this dagger was not forged in a classic sense, but transmuted from some strange magic into this form. You're not sure if it used to be a different type of metal, a different type of substance altogether, but there's heavy transmutation magic in this that imply its transformation into this from some unknown previous state.
Yeah, Jiri, it's definitely I don't know, it's magical. It's better than your run-of-the-mill dagger. It's got I don't want to call it necrotic properties, but it's basically if you get hit with this, tending to your wounds through magical means or any other means don't really work. For a little bit. It's not like a permanent thing, but it's definitely a nice dagger.
Cool. Thanks for that.
Do you want me to hold on to this, or can you hold it? I don't want it to hurt you.
Oh, I'll take it. I want to stab somebody with it.
Can I see
Somebody
it,
evil. Of course. What?
Can I see it, Jerry?
Oh yeah, sure.
Can I analyze it? Not from a metal perspective, but I think some kind of assassin was using this knife. Is it like a knife that's made for throwing? Is it a knife that's made for having poison applied to it? What can I get of the strategy of how this knife has been used?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and make a history or intelligence check. Would history apply? I'm gonna say history can apply for this. Yeah.
20. No,
20
21.
You would identify that the closest sort of type of knife or dagger this is like a karambit knife. It's a very hooked curve to it that can be very suitable for throwing. Certainly it's aerodynamic in the way it could be hurled, but it's specifically meant to be not wielded forward, but a reverse grip on it so that one can drag it across a neck in their range of motion. Very specific style, and you guys, if you wanted, could look up a karambit knife. Very specific, tapered, curved edge to it. Other than that, it doesn't give much insight more than that, but definitely suitable for use by an assassin. However, you would think the fact that the assassin, the Deadeye, threw this in his very first round of combat with you all intended to come pick it up again and continue to use it, especially with his potent ability to prevent healing magic from occurring. However, was unfortunately blocked from the ability to go retrieve it because of the fear spell by Toby. But you think it was not abandoned lightly, this weapon.
Jerry, look at this, and I'll like do a cool like flip to get it like from the front. So this is what it's supposed to go for. You like drag it like this, and you slash throats with it. It's not really your style, but if an assassin was using this, and did you say anything about it being transmuted or anything about it?
Yes, yeah.
Then this was perhaps made with that person in mind, or that kind of person in mind. And I don't think it was left lightly.
It might also be the material that it's made of. This is a strange metal. It kind of matches Jiri's sword, but I've never worked with metal like this, so I don't even know how easily moldable or smithable something like this would be. So that might be why they had to kind of resort to magical means to get an edge like that.
Do I remember if the Talon, whose name I can't remember right now, had the reptile? Did she have a Vanta Black sword?
Vitria. When you all fought her the first time, she did not. She had a crooked. It was like a dark iron color, but somewhat maybe magically reinforced. You're not sure, but it wasn't this. This, even in the light of the moon and then the approaching dawn, this metal doesn't reflect any of the sun's light or the light bouncing off the surface of the water. It's a very strange phenomenon, as no matter what angle you view it from, it just looks like the silhouette of a weapon. Vitria was wielding a sort of hooked, calling it a hand axe is clunky, but like a chain blade that she had a chain wrapped around her arm and could sort of swing out that weapon, similarly to Roulette's flail weapon, in a sense.
So we've never seen a metal that looks like this yet.
Other than Jiri's sword, and maybe you've dismissed it because Jiri has strange magical powers that can't really be accounted for, but it is the first time that a comparable appearance to Jiri's magical weapon is visibly available and with you guys. It's distinctly the same visual phenomenon, but two individual separate weapons.
Weird. And back to Jiri.
And then he takes it and he like slashes around with it like chaotically.
It's gonna be my new style. Tell the Aaron, just wait. I'm gonna be the best assassin ever.
Why does it match the sword you've got? I've never.
No, it's very different. See, this is a dagger. My sword is a sword.
Well, that weapon came from Daniel.
This dagger, maybe. Who knows where it came from?
Well, it was from a Jurassian, and that's like. Wouldn't it come from the north?
Maybe. Who knows?
Is that where your sword comes from?
No, my sword comes from Jaland. This is Adras the Stormbender. This is my dad's sword. It's supposed to be blue, I know, but, you know. It is what it is.
Do you remember a time when it changed, or does it...
Yeah, it used to be purple at one point. Remember my purple sword?
That's
You guys
right.
first met.
Yeah, when you guys originally sparred at the training grounds and early in your adventure, Jiri wielded a simple, slight curved Odachi katana-esque longsword, and it was a purple sheen.
So you see, Adras the Stormbender is a magical sword, Telpiran. Any true Jarl of Jaland can summon it.
Did it seem like when your father started giving you more powers, it became black? I don't remember if you had mentioned that.
Oh, yes. Remember when I first summoned it? It was a big deal.
Oh, you had been saying the phrase backwards.
I know. I forgot that thunder was thunder and lightning was lightning. I had it backwards.
Huh.
What does the hex? What's your dad say about it?
My sword or the dagger?
The dagger.
He said, ask Roulette about it.
But he was curious about it.
Yeah, he tried to have me put them together. but they didn't go together.
And he doesn't recognize the medal?
No. Dad, do you recognize the medal?
I feel a familiarity with the magic that radiates from it. You and I, in our travels, have opened our minds to sporadic memories of our first meeting. And you recall, off in the distance, separate from the container I seem to be housed in, there was a workshop bench full of weapons like these. These are no stray weapons. These are creations of the witch. As perhaps am I?
Dad, you and I have two completely different memories. You came out of a bottle. Remember when you got killed by Jadrakar? He slew you, and I had to store your essence in my bottle of Orin air.
Just a sigh.
Wait, Jerry, what did your father say before you started answering him?
What?
What did your father say to you before you started talking to him? Is my question.
He was like, he remembers it. Then he was like talking about like some crazy factory of weapons with a witch lady. He's confused. My memories are all tangled up and mixed up, just like his. Hey, Dad, maybe we should have Roulette help us with it.
I just would like word for word what he said, because I think we're getting things lost in translation.
Dad, repeat it one more time and I'll say
No, don't say it again. Don't say it again. I don't want to hear it again. It just
Never
Jerry
mind,
just-
Dad.
Jerry just sits there.
I had a question, Jiri, but had you told us that you had kept your dad in that bottle before? You still have him with you?
Yes, his spirit is within me,
And
but
you
his
still-
physical form is destroyed.
But do you still have that bottle of Orin air?
Yeah, it's in Roulette's bag.
Oh, I hadn't.
Don't open it
realized
up, though.
I
You
hadn't
can't release
realized
all my
how
air.
important that was to you.
Oh,
I knew
yes.
it was important, but that's. I'll be sure to keep protecting it on my mind.
Yeah, it's very important. I spent 7 years in there. It was a long time.
Were you cohabitating with your father in there?
I don't really remember much of my time in there. It's weird. I also have memories of being in jail too, but I don't think I was in jail. I think I was in the bottle.
A bottle could be jail if you look at it. You know, you were trapped in there and couldn't get out.
Was the jail the workshop? Of
No,
weapons?
definitely not. I don't know where this workshop memory comes from. It's not my memory.
Maybe it's your father's memory.
A different question.
Maybe it's a memory from another life, Jerry.
Another life.
Like the life you lived before this one.
Well, wait a minute. What? I've always been Jiri.
No, when your atoms made up another being before you were Jerry.
What is an atom?
The smallest particles that make up you?
Like when you turn to vapor.
Yeah, made out of clouds, not atoms. Maybe that's like a tree thing.
Jiri, if your father felt like this dagger was almost opposed to him, before your brother became a traitor, were there other things you fought in Jaland? Were there other towns in Orin?
Oh, yeah, there's the 4 orbiting kingdoms.
Do you
They
think this
orbit
could be
Jaland.
from one of them?
This dagger? Maybe. Yeah, when I was a kid, I went on a tour. I got kicked out of Jaland. I was naughty in my youth.
It's a good thing that's in the past.
I know. I had to be a ward for all the 4 orbiting kingdoms. It took forever. I was there for like 7 years.
About the same time you were in that bottle, wasn't it?
About the same amount of time. Yes, you're right.
Interesting.
Is your favorite number 7?
Oh, maybe. It should be. Good idea.
While I've got these out, did anyone pick up anything from the Thane's office, or while you were looting the warehouse? What do you got, Telperion? Floated over.
Got a glass staff, and I floated over.
Identify reveals it to be a staff of defense, beautifully hewn woodcraft along the handle, but then the upper portion of it is entirely blown glass. Very delicate looking, but magically reinforced, and you don't think it's as brittle as normal glass. And then you can definitely add that to your inventory, Telperion, or whoever's keeping that.
I will hand it back to Telperion.
I like it, so I'm going to hold on to it. But I don't think I can use it. But I'm reading this book, and it's giving me some ideas, so I want to try.
Did anyone get anything from the Thane's office?
I got some things. I just have 2 notebooks now, so now it's a new game of picking which one. So, some things that have been acquired. The staff of defense, a pouch of powdered diamond. I can't use that. I just hand it to you.
Is it just powdered diamonds?
Yes, with an basic intelligence check, you might not have a clean idea of like its true appraisal value, but yes, it is.
Compare it to the, how much do I have? 200 gold worth of diamond dust I have. Does it seem more, less?
Very, very similar to that amount.
So roughly 200.
Then also
very important, and I might actually make use of that on helping Jokel and the elf.
Kair swerves away from the diamonds going to roulette, and it swerves to you. I've also got this.
Oh, sorry. MK, did you want that in your inventory?
Yeah, I would. Toby,
Okay,
you want to take hold of that?
Sure, you can take that. I will remove that from mine.
We have a parchment sheet of abjuration magic. About to you.
Is it the
Let me
super
see.
shield spell?
Roulette is looking at it. Let's see if it's on your class list, and it is.
I think we're getting in the habit of just passing it around until someone can read the spell scrolls.
It is innately arcane. Roulette, you take a look at it, and although it's... Wait, you can cast 3rd level spells, right? So it's... Yeah, so it is within your ability to cast, as well as something you can follow the glyph work on. It is a glyph of warding, which upon combination with another spell can be used to place something. Noticeably, you put together, this is what was on the door. Leading into the Thane's thing, he had bound a spell of some unknown effect to a glyph of warding on the doorknob.
Toby might also be like, I think that's how I gave Telperion that boost in the Hydra fight, was I had Shield of Faith activate on him when the glyph went off.
Oh, interesting.
So I made a little box, or I had Roulette make a little box.
That's right.
Telperion also floats 160 gold to everybody. Which,
I am a fan of the
actually, yeah. We got 58 platinum, so I guess 780 platinum. That's a large of that amount is platinum, actually. I'll do the math on that in a minute. So never mind, don't do the gold yet.
Gotcha.
The last thing is, I'll hold on to the letter. I float you a cylinder vial with thick red sludge in it.
Gross.
You identify that, and 10 minutes go by, ritualistically casting identify. It does not glow magically.
It's Jello.
Some sort of alchemical concoction that is not innately magical per se.
Interesting. Telperion, this might be a bit up your alley as far as chemically identifying this. It's not magical innately or anything. It's not going to be a weird fire where if you throw it, everything gets red fire. It's some sort of chemical.
It's pretty dark and I'm very tired, so I'll look at it, but maybe tomorrow I'll be able to make no sense of it. And I will roll with disadvantage for exhaustion. Is that a nature check?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Kind of looks like the viscosity of it kind of reminds you of like a blood,
ew.
but not quite sure what
Blood.
capabilities.
I'll check it in the lab tomorrow. By which I mean with my bedroll.
Does the I don't know if this has been established yet. Does the sun rise from the east on Eridon?
It does, and it is rather beautiful, especially after the skirmish of warfare that you guys just got a taste of at Forest Hollow. As you guys are sailing eastward, eventually creeping over the beautiful colors of dawn, indigo becoming purple, becoming magenta, and then beginning to warm into red, orange, yellow as the dawn and eventually the sun barely visible on the horizon.
So I think Toby will revisit his mental map of Eridon and think, okay, if he's in Corey Tall, he should be probably awake by now. And I'll use the sending stone to send a message to Mirage.
Okay.
And I'll... Roulette, do I need to say anything to trigger it, or do I just squeeze it, or...
I think you just you squeeze it a little and then you think a message into it.
I'll activate it and I'll say, we may have Korik collect us. Can you arrange some components to be brought there? I'll send a list in several hours. Jiri says hi.
You get a response back of wonderful to hear from you. Your previous short response had this one worried. We'll arrange something. May have a price. Location?
Okay. He's waiting to hear back when this stone, or I can send him a message to let him know where Korik could grab us. So
Sounds good. Let's.
are we about ready to touch down on the coast and head inland?
It takes another hour or two further, so where the sun actually has time to get up above the horizon, and by the time you all touch down at a familiar shoreline, you know you're close to Aen Alat, and therefore Brave's Respite, the newly named Alealor Ruins. However, after another night, even with shifts of watch, I do need those of you who have not gained a point of exhaustion to please make another Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Which I believe is specifically
Critter,
Roulette, Rome, and Toby.
Critter, at some point during this, I will have unattuned my shield and attuned the Smith's companions.
Okay.
And I will have fashioned a much uglier but effective tiny Moby 3, just as a little familiar thing.
Sounds good.
Wow.
Success.
Also,
Barely success from Toby Rama. Actually, no, more hours have gone by. Toby Rama, you do finally give in to the approach of exhaustion, but Rome and Roulette, you stay resolute.
Ladies.
Everybody gets 12 platinum and 40 gold.
Gotcha.
Great, I did like a 20 to 2 conversion in my own pouch to make it even split.
Beautiful.
Also, I switched into my cloak of Griffin, or my Griffin's cloak, and then I, without attune the staff of defense.
You do go ahead and attune to the staff of defense. Okay. Unattuning what, might I ask?
The Elven cloak, which I'm taking off and trading for my Griffin cloak.
Right. So that one.
So I
is a
put on the
clean
cloak without
swap.
attuning it. Yeah, I just
Oh,
so I
got it,
swapped
got it,
capes
got it, got it,
and I
got it,
dropped
got it.
Elven attunement to have this staff.
Got it.
Huh. That's not a
Perfect.
bad look.
Staff of defense is attuned.
It's not a bad look, Telperion.
I'll tell you all what it does when we've rested. Just gonna play with it for now. Can't really use it for me.
Do we feel like the journey into the forest will be shorter than the journey on the water?
Do we know
Much
to come
shorter.
here?
You know that Aenalad is, for all intents and purposes, like a couple hundred yards into the forest, and then from there, I think it took you guys 2-ish hours to get to the Alailor ruins. So you guys only have a 2 to 3 hour journey.
Almost
Wait,
there.
Toby. Did Mirage say hi back?
He said it was good to hear from us.
That's a no.
He didn't specifically reply.
Oh my gosh.
I tried to parse it all out. I'm pretty sure it didn't cut off, but maybe the stone works differently for my magic, so maybe he didn't hear it.
All right, I'm gonna start planning another prank for Mirage because of this.
Into the thick of it.
Yeah, let's go.
Anything from you, Toby?
Yeah, but kind of as we're walking, so I don't know if you want to resolve
Sure.
any travel stuff first, or if I can.
Not necessarily. You guys will begin to make the trek through a familiar chunk of forest that is relatively coast-bound and therefore not in the dense danger of Emerald Forest jungle.
I've just been thinking. This is Toby just kind of talking to the group.
I'll switch up the music to. It's now daytime. You guys are a little further from threat, so.
Being back there and seeing Forest Hollow essentially now on the brink of destruction. I was doing a lot of reflecting on the boat of when we had to flee there last. I don't remember if I told you guys all the specifics of it, but the medallion that I wear, Gallus was very precious about it. I don't think he ever touched it from when I saw him handling it. He had talked to Ira about it when we were leaving Queen Eli's chamber. He had brought that out, getting ready to talk to her. And he told me that it had been passed down through Adolo Moreau's family for generations. And when his wife died, Nadia, the matriarch, let Gallus continue to hold it. And 2-3 hours before we fought the Arc Knight, he gave it to me. He said to use my very best judgment in who I show it to. And I'm thinking on why so many soldiers assaulted the town. There was several hundred. And I don't even think there was 100 soldiers there last night. it seemed very important that the Arknight seek out Gallus. He called him his master. He said Gallus used to be a Talon. So I don't know if it was just a grudge. I have an inkling that maybe he was seeking out this thing if he knew Gallus had it. And I just want to remind you guys of like what it says. Rome, do you speak Celestial? I don't remember. Yeah, so it says, "Must a soul, both wild and true, bear thy forsaken quarter, lest anguish old cause ire new, compel them toward disorder." Roulette, you touched this and you identified it. I think I remember. It says, "You have a soul must bear thy quarter." I don't know if it means this, or if it's a key to something, but something is quartered away somewhere, and a wild and true soul has to bear it. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that because I think I want to show it to the Moot and the powers that be who are going to be there. And I want to cast a powerful spell to try and learn about it. I don't know if I want to do that privately among you all, or if I want to do it in the presence of the others to be very forthright and honest and just show that we aren't really holding anything back. I hear light melodies that have become very warm day to day. Like I hear them as I'm using this thing. It felt very quiet when I had not been attuned to it.
I mean,
There's
Toby,
something in here.
to your point, I mean, I think there's, not to use an overly apt metaphor of two sides of the same coin when talking about a large coin like that, but the Moot's going to have lots of people there. Moot's going to have lots of powerful people, strong people there. And there's a likelihood that even Durasts themselves will know that a Moot like this is going to happen. So one side of it, you got a lot of smart people in one room, all who can help and react to it, but it's also a pretty high stakes situation where, let's say the Arknight did want that, and he wanted to make a pretty coordinated play for where that medallion might be at a specific moment. He might strike at that exact moment. It's not going to keep us from going to the Moot, but I don't know. I'd say it's up to you. We're here by your side. If you want to do whatever powerful balancing insight magic you're going to do, we'll be here, whether it's in the middle of the woods outside of the Lalor ruins, or if it's in the middle of the hopefully now healed, or soon to be healed, shade.
That's
place.
what I had messaged Mirage about, the components. It's not a cheap magic. I'm curious about why.
Do you need gold or something, or diamonds?
No, it's a lot of incense and some ivory.
Oh, this is a smelly spell.
Yeah, and I'm curious about why Kelemvor needs me to prepare such an ornate ritual for that magic, but I want to do it, and I think I might do it just in front of you all. Gallus,
I'd also keep in mind, I think if you're going to share information with the leaders, like my mother and King Mordecai, it's better to just come with it ready to go, and you'll have made sense of it, and you can honestly, you can plan what to say. I'd also say we obviously have underestimated Durest's reach. They made it into my home, right? What if there's some person who's made themselves important to one of the leaders, mother included? Look at what happened with Myelite.
And they disguised
Yeah,
themselves as Kari for Queen Elia, so maybe
right.
it's not unreasonable that maybe one of the seneschals has been being puppeted or something.
I think if you wanted to take a risk and share it with my mother and Mordecai alone, that would be something I could get behind. But I think you may be outing yourself as having something important to Durest if you are right in that suspicion.
That's a good point. It just seems powerful, and I want you guys to know about it if you're going to travel in my company, if I'm going to continue to bear it. So, I just want to give an update, because it's just been so common and comfortable having it with me.
Have any of us ever held it?
I held it.
Yeah, Roulette has.
Might I see it? I don't think I've ever touched it.
Let me take a moment.
Britt, out of character, have we made the connection between this type of metal and Rome's metal?
Yeah, I think you guys, when you originally found the vase that Rome emerged from, it was distinctly this metal. Like, it was this unassuming iron-colored metal that, upon closer inspection, seemed wildly intricate and beautiful. It's this weird juxtaposition of unassuming and brilliant. And it seems to have held the test of time, her vase, well past the typical properties of an iron.
Was it? I'm trying to remember if it was Divinor or Celestial.
These are Divinor, I think.
Because Celestial are the swords that Telperion has seen visions of. And Divinor
As
was
well as the
vase.
Arknight's armor.
And the Divinor was the same as the vase, which I think was the same as the medallion.
I mean, I can investigate it later.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps tomorrow, or perhaps after I find out the nature of it.
Just odd that we've
There's
got
just a lot on
that
my mind
nice,
right now.
very special metal in that item, and then we got this creepy magic darkness metal. It's just
Do
such
we
a
still
metal.
have the alien sword?
I
I don't
do.
remember what we did with that.
I mean, it's in my bag. It's proved. Just, I mean, I could take it out in a bit.
There's a lot of weird
Maybe.
materials I've never come across before. And it's so close together in the time we've known each other.
Maybe once we restore Jokel, we can ask him.
That's a good point.
It's probably around this time, as you guys continue forward, that you see a strand of rope connected to a bough of tree with a simple copper kettlebell just dangling from it, about 20 feet up or so. 10 feet up or so.
I'll do some thaumaturgy to give it a little ding. Okay. Rebecca? Anyone else? It's Toby.
Okay, just walk us in.
We're gonna head back to the ruins.
I'll just
welcome
lead
to
everyone in.
You're welcome to keep moving forward, knowing that you're in the company of an elf who can help you all breach the protection of the mythal magic. And it's still a strange sensation for all of you other than Telperion and actually Rome. You don't feel this sensation either. But Roulette, Toby, and Jiri, you feel a familiar sensation of, as you walk past a series of trees, like an addled mind, almost like just strongly suggesting you change course, but with Telperion's sort of hand on your shoulders guides you through. and then your mind's clear. A couple minutes, not minutes, maybe 2 minutes past this clanging of that dull bell, you do hear the footsteps approaching or you hear the snap of a tree limb up above. Well, Albie, you've returned. How's it going, everyone?
We look like shit.
We're also carrying 2 bodies. One's in like a bramble suitcase though.
What's the other body you're physically carrying?
Rhea.
Mindor is still in the necklace, right? No, I thought
Rhea and the Thane.
Thane is Thane's in the brambles. Rhea's in the carpet. So that is why I thought her voice would have trailed off.
Rhea's
she just sees Rhea sort of being held.
Can
no.
Can we get a space prepared? I don't want all the children to see this. Somewhere secluded.
Yeah, of course.
Set her down.
Yeah, there's a section in the back of where the gate is. We can just sneak in through some of the debris. We don't even have to go around the front.
That would be good.
All right.
I go up to Rebecca and almost like kind of clasp her shoulder. I'm like, Rhea fought valiantly and gave everything she could to save Jokel, and you don't see him, but we have good hope that we can present him healthy in a few hours. And we also saved an elf too. Well, 2 actually.
She sort of wipes a tear. She's not sobbing by any means, but a tear runs down that she wipes. Sometimes I hate being an elf, you know? You outlive everyone. What about the others you saved, you say?
We need a solid 8 hours alone to recuperate, and when we've come back from that rest, we're going to have, like, hopefully 3 healthy individuals ready to go back to bring some smiles about.
Oh, and a crazy story to tell for sure.
And we have news of a freshly abandoned fort just up the way.
Oh.
Hopefully. Much more lightly planned than before.
You at least gave him hell on your way out.
They gave themselves hell because we were there. God.
Well, that one, and I point to the bramble suitcase, he thought he'd set up in the elders' rooms, but we took him back.
But don't tell anybody about him, because we need people to think he's still alive.
Yeah, we also don't want to cause a panic, do we? That we've got one of them here. Yeah, you guys follow me, and she'll sort of lead the way toward the back of this area where some of the collapsed stuff. Let me
This room.
a little bit further ahead. Yeah,
Jerry,
they're
the
kinda
wolves.
coming in from the other way. Yes, where once wolves and dragons were fought.
PTSD.
You guys are able to make it back here with Rebecca at your side, and she just kind of stands at whoever's holding Rhea. She'll just kind of be sticking to your side.
I'll say I'm carrying.
It's not well landscaped or nothing, but you could post up wherever you like to. I can make sure no one comes back out here. You guys, please rest.
Ray, just try not to tell too many people we're here until...
That's Rebecca.
Rebecca, try not to tell too many people we're here.
That was so aggressive,
Of course.
Steve. That's Rebecca.
Of course. I might tell Bullwinkle so that he can stand guard to the back entrance here. Everyone's rousing for the day. So we'll just try and make sure they all go out the front. Oh, sad. Alfie getting crossed off. And with that, she will. Is there anything I can do with her? Start giving her a burial?
No.
or-
No,
Stop,
we're-
none of that. She's gonna be fine.
We'll talk
She's
to you in
gonna
a
be
couple. We'll talk to you in a couple hours.
Just
Yeah,
let her rest at peace. She's gonna be okay.
Bex, you didn't see any dead bodies. Just remember that.
Yeah. I didn't think we'd lose them both. I assumed Joe Kell was.
You're right, Rebecca.
One's lost.
We're gonna have some very good news in 8 hours' time. Which is why we don't want you to worry anyone else.
Okay.
Didn't see anything.
Okay,
But-
well, I'm not going to be able to do anything productive for the next 8 hours, so maybe I'll join Bullwinkle in his watch and guard the entrance here. Glad you all made it back safely. Seemingly in good health-ish. All right, you all rest. We'll be in there. And she'll sort of back up, still watching you all, reluctant to turn away, and then leave you all here.
I really
And
don't
as you
think
all
there's-
potentially
yeah,
start engaging in a long rest, that might be a perfect spot for a quick bio break.
yeah, I don't think there's
Bio
gonna be
break.
a beat where Toby doesn't just pass the fuck out.
Can we hit long rest before we break?
You guys are all welcome to hit long rest unless there are any antics you want to do during a long rest.
I want to do antics.
I will say I will not be. I'll give the information that I will not be instigating antics, but if you guys instigate, I'm happy to.
I'll wait. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I
Alright.
have antics. They're not really antics. They're just character beats.
Yep, perfect. We'll come back there then.
BRB. Hola. Steve, can you hear the fan? Four organ kingdoms. Is it okay if I start getting new prepared spells ready, since I don't even have the slots to cast anymore?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Its ability lasts for that. That's very nice. Here's an interesting question. Readying the casting of a spell utilizes concentration. Does
Correct.
an extended period of casting, like spells that take an hour to cast, would that be considered concentrating while you're doing that?
I don't think the wording of like ritual magic like that. Oh, well, so this is separate from ritual. It's like it takes
It's
10
like
minutes
a
to
spell
cast,
takes
but
an
it's effectively similar to ritual in that you're actively casting it the whole time. But no, not necessary. I would say not necessarily, but there could be a cool narrative beat where, hey, this person's trying to pull off this spell. Everyone has to protect them so that they don't lose the spell or something. There can be like maybe moments where that might be appropriate, but I don't know that anything's written that way.
Okay. I'm gonna get that ready.
Although you obviously cannot cast another spell mid casting of a 10-minute spell.
I think I had talked that with you and established that.
Yeah.
I'll get that ready.
Critter, functionally, can you use a sorcery point to twin cast a spell that has an extended casting time?
Usually, twinning spells is a single target focus. Like the spell is
Yes.
aimed at a single target.
I bet the semantics of twin spell will clarify that.
Well, yeah, you don't need to look that up. Sorry, I'm not multi-classing in this sorcerer. Yet.
Just the brain.
As long as
just
it
went,
doesn't,
"Ooh."
one of the issues is it can't have a range of self. A lot of the 10-minute casting times have a duration of self, and you can't twin that.
Gotcha.
But there could be a situation where maybe like, I don't know, like super plant growth. Maybe you could like, it doesn't self and it's not trying to target more than one creature, so you could in theory maybe twin some things, but I don't know. And I think it has to target a creature. Also, the twinning of it is you're targeting an additional creature.
Gotcha.
That just makes me wonder if, like, could you twin Greater Restoration? Would it need double the components?
I think yes. I think it can. I think it specifies that in twin as well.
That you need components for both.
That you need the
parties.
components for both spells. Yeah, I think.
That would be handy right now.
But you could definitely twin that and then not use an extra spell slot on it.
Whoa.
Ready over here.
Ready over here.
Ready.
I'm ready. I'm just also making dinner, so I apologize. I'm gonna be all kind of a little
Nope.
all over the place.
No worries at all. With that, as you all kind of are somewhat required to make a quick campfire for general warmth in this otherwise winter climate, this area not protected from the weather as well as other mythals, like within Telperian's portion of the forest. You guys are all welcome to bed down for the night and get up to any antics you want to as you're going to sleep or in your sleep or otherwise. Who has something they want to do?
Roulette will she's gonna be staying up late. Not up late. She's going to be staying into the morning late, looking through her notebooks. Very specifically reviewing all of her Alfie schematics, all of the, like, way back to the original, like, definitely transcripted conversation she had with Marta way back in Ostennis, just about Alfie in general. And there'll come a quick moment where she feels like she's getting emotional, and she will quickly close that part of the book and open some other stuff. And she, as she always has done throughout her life, when she's feeling sad, she wants to try something new. So, at some point, she's going to sit off to the side. She will have laid Rhea out somewhere protected under one of the arches. But she will sit 15, 20 feet away, and she's going to grab 3 rocks. And she's going to sit down, crisscross applesauce, rock 1, rock 2, rock 3 in front of her. She's going to take out 2 of her tinkering tools. The Sundropper, which does light, and then the Whetstone, which does colors and sounds. and she's going to get into a somewhat meditative state. And she's going to tinker the left one to be red, the left rock to be red, and then the right rock to smell like roses. And she's just going to repeat that just over and over, just a couple of times. Red, and then a couple of seconds, minute later, roses. And she's just going to kind of think in her head of like all of the mechanics of the tools that she's using and what she's doing. And then she's going to try and speed it up. Red, roses. Red, roses. She's going to try and just do this as fast as possible. Mechanically, it takes an action to do each of these. Her back is to the fire, so you would see just like a silhouette of red kind of keep popping up every now and then. But she's going to keep doing back and forth, and at some point, while she's doing this, she's going to think of Jiri, think of the dream that he was in where she was just able to infuse one object with two tinkerings at the same time. Red, roses, red, roses, red, roses. And then at some point, she's just going to take both and then switch to the center rock and attempt to infuse it at the same time with two different infusions. From a rule book, I will tell you mechanically, can't do that.
Right. Go
Guess
ahead
if you go
and
the
make-
implications.
I do. Go ahead and start with a tinkering check. Actually, no, go ahead and give me a general arcana check with disadvantage.
Ooh, I like it. Twelves.
Not bad for
You
just
instinctively get a lesser version of what you want out of this stone. You try and like multitasking in your mental ability to understand the arcane mathematics of this world and the weave that it comes from, this intricate pattern of stuff that you can make sense of. It's so difficult to do two things simultaneously. But this is such second nature to you to use this arcane tinkering that your effect succeeds in that it glows just the faintest hue of red, and you get a waft of rose and immediately pick up the stone and smell it, but it doesn't smell like anything, and as you pull it away, it's already dulled back to its normal color.
Roulette has the biggest, stupidest smile on her face, and immediately just goes back to her notebook and just starts writing down next steps, next experiments. Yeah, and she'll be doing that. Still thinking on Jiri and the dream. And at some point before she goes to sleep, still thinking on something that Jiri had said earlier in the day, she's going to take out from the bag of holding a very specific jar that has a label on it saying Jiri's Orin Air. And I want to, while still having my back to the fire, I want to ritually cast Identify on the jar of Orin Air.
I would like to ask a question. Is it fair, Jiri? Do we think it's fair? Roulette, this is a question for both of you, and I want both of you to sort of agree on a scenario here. Do we think Roulette purposefully did this only when Jiri was actually asleep? And coinciding with that, Jiri, do you think it's reasonably Jiri would have fallen asleep relatively quickly that would give Roulette a window of time where she could do this while you're sleeping?
I will say Roulette's intention is to be hidey about this. So she is trying to, I'd say, do this stealthily.
I sort of figured that, and it might not be a dexterity-based thing. It might be a perception-y based thing based on, is Jiri asleep?
Ooh, roll off.
Okay. So yeah, so roulette, I want you to roll insight.
Perception versus insight.
Yes, I want Jiri's perception
At
versus Roulette's
disadvantage.
insight. Oh yes, if you're exhausted, that's true. Perception with disadvantage against an insight from Roulette.
Could get 220s.
Jerry's never good at perception anyway. So.
220s.
11?
Oh my god. Hold on.
No.
Can you flash a genius?
No, because I think I used my last one.
I think you might have used your last one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay.
All right.
Roulette,
So-
Roulette, you think Jiri's asleep. You pull out the bottle and you begin under your breath, low level chanting. But Jiri, you do wake up. Either wake up or notice if you are already awake, and you see Roulette chanting, looking at your bottle of Orinair.
Jiri has been pretending to fall asleep because he's been waiting for Roulette to fall asleep for a specific reason. And when he sees her taking out his bottle, he's gonna run over and be like, "Roulette, be careful! It's made out of glass. If you break that, you're gonna release all my Orinair. Put that away."
Oh, sorry, Jerry. I was just checking on it. Apologies. I'll put it away.
The very essence of Jarland is in there. You gotta be careful.
Oh, okay. She's exhausted at this point. And she'll put it away. Sorry, I was basically falling asleep over here as it was happening anyway. And
Maybe I should hold on to that from now on.
I've got it. It's already back in the bag. And I'm not gonna like put my head on it, but I will like put the bag off to the side, and I will roll up in my bedroll and start to go to sleep.
Roll.
All right, well, just be careful with it.
Of course, Jerry, I'm careful with everything of yours. Don't worry.
Jiri will head back to where he was positioned. In between him, like trying to position himself in between the fire and Roulette, right in the middle between the two of them.
So I imagine then, as Roulette begins to allow sleep to take herself, you might be interested in instigating something. However, in that period of time where Roulette was tinkering and Jiri was faking sleep, were any of the rest of you doing anything specifically?
I'm trancing. First things first, trance, and then after trance, halfway through their rest, I'll wake up and start fiddling with stuff, but that's later.
Okay. Any guiding your thoughts to anything in particular?
Yeah, tonight or this morning, I'm thinking about the weird dreams I was having post Feywild that have been very far from my mind, but our conversation about like broader things with the metals has definitely influenced my thinking, and I'm just noting that those dreams haven't happened for a while, and that I feel like I didn't really get satisfactory answers on that, and also just kind of taking comfort in how long the past has stretched, and like today was a very hard day, and like thinking about something grand and far away is kind of comforting.
Very well. Anything from Toby or Rome in the first hour or two of sort of settling down?
Knocked out cold.
Rome would have spent some time ritually casting Commune with Nature. I don't know if you remember when she spent some time communing in the water of the lake or the loch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But something similar in this land, like kind of just putting feelers out of anything that may be related to her and her like particular species.
Okay. Generally,
Relatives.
You will gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about the area around you. Are you interested in specifying 3 things you're looking for, or would you like me to see if there's 3 things I can provide to you?
I guess now that I know the names of the other Mythaline, my 3 questions will be focused on their 3 like elemental domains. of
Okay.
like whether or not I sense them in the environment. So the three questions are asking if whether or not I can sense the three of them.
Okay. First, you shift your sense to fire. And I would like to pull something up so that I use the correct information here. Last you had seen a glimpse of Pirwa, your your fire sister, Mythaline. You had seen her briefly, a bright blaze atop a mountain. A glimpse showed to you by Galathur when you used its dew for this spell previously. You suspect these lands, at least within 3 miles around you, your network starts far out, like roots of a tree grabbing nourishment, siphoning them to a center. Pirwa has not touched these lands. No trace of her footsteps. No suggestion of her being until it gets to your current location. You can't help but open your eyes in instinct. There's something about the nature of this place that contains an echo of Pirwa's presence. Perhaps she or some essence of her has been here some time ago. Almost simultaneously, you reach out, trying to gather information from Merwen, your water brother. Similarly, your roots reach out, your almost neurological roots, your connection with this land reach out and slowly honing in their area of search, looking for any remnant or echo of Merwen's touch in this environment. Merwen has not ever touched this place near you. And then finally, and simultaneously, you think of Zephidel, or as he has apparently been called in Orcish, Drakkar. And this one's strange because your roots are gathering information of how they have impacted the land you walk upon, echoes of their footsteps. But you can't help but like strain your neck upward and hear like a concussive white noise wash over you. Zephidel has swept through this place in the distant past. So although no tangible information gathered, 2 Mythaline, and now 3, have had some geographical alignment with this place, whether this specific place or this terrain near you. 2 of them have passed through here for various reasons. I will say, I will give you directional. Drakkar's essence, the echo of his presence, seemed to have swept southward. From the north, over this place to the south. Pirwa's essence almost leaves a warmth to your touch on the very stones you're sitting upon. And that's all.
Rome will reflect on this disclosure, and she will sleep in a tree tonight as she dreams of her brothers and sister.
You're welcome to. And with that, some things by everyone, and then Roulette is able to fall asleep, and Jiri, I believe you were waiting for her to fall asleep for reasons.
Yes, I will use a spell slot to cast Dream on her when she is sleeping.
Okay.
I will bring her into the typical Jiri dream. I think last place we left off was Rome or Roulette falling, right?
I believe we were shooting lightning off of the top of the cliff, and at some point I fell off of it, I think.
Yes, we were climbing. You are falling. I'm curious, how does like Roulette feel about like falling? Is it like an unsettling feeling, or are you used to it since you're a climber? I'm sure you've fallen many times.
I think it's probably something she got over, like the basic instinct fear of falling. She got over that probably as a kid because she loved climbing so much, and she definitely fell a whole bunch. So like the gut drop, she's not immune to, but it's yeah, doesn't hit her as hard as it would the average person.
Okay, so now as you're falling, you remember something that Jiri once said to you when he was trying to learn how to fly during his many times of jumping off of cliffs and whatnot. That falling is just another form of falling. And as that like thought pops into your mind, somehow you can like reorient yourself in this dream where no, you're not falling, you're flying through the air. You take off and you're flying through this massive storm that's like completely surrounding you in all directions, and you're flying. I don't know, is this more fun than falling, I'm assuming?
Yes, she fully embraces it, and yeah.
And you see ahead of you like a rocky surface, and you land. You I guess it's like a landing zone, like where you're meant to like come and stop your flight. And so you come crashing to the ground, and as you look up, your like surroundings start to like materialize. Like when you actually start to look, things come into focus, and you see that you are on a rocky surface, an island in like a sea of clouds, and the ground is covered in moss. There's grasses and whatnot. In front of you is a giant pool of water, massive waterfall emptying into this pool, a giant cliff in front of you as well. To your left, a huge forest of giant sunflowers the size of trees. To your right is like a switchback switchback kind of pathway that leads up to the top of this like waterfall. And as you're standing there, you hear a voice from behind you, somebody clearing their voice.
I will immediately whip around. Do I have any control over like any aspect of this as far as like what I look like, or is this just like you're in control of everything?
What do you like? What do you want to have control of?
When I was flying, I wanted to have the Griffin's Rebuke cape on that I gave to Delperiod.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have full control of what you look like. Yeah, of course.
I will turn around in a flourish with the
yes.
The cape.
And the first thing you see is a giant cork sticking out of the ground, like massive, like 6 feet tall, maybe 5 feet in diameter. It's like this, it's cork, just like the bottle, Jiri's bottle that has on top of it. And standing on the cork is a figure, dressed in like adventuring leathers, but with blue skin. And the figure speaks to you, and it says, "Howdy there, Roulette. How are you? It's me. It's Jiri, but not the Jiri you probably remember. I didn't mean to startle you. How are you?"
I'm doing well. Are you the Jiri that's inside his head, or someone else?
I'm one of them. You see, Jiri's really into acting, and every time he puts on a new performance, he really becomes that character. A piece of that character lives inside his mind. I'm one of those versions of Jiri. Back when he was performing for the Blue Feathers. He played a role in a play as a character, an adventurer by the name of Jeb Nebulous. So I'm Jeb Jiri.
The guy I'm talking to right now, does he look like the Jiri I know, or
It's yes, it's Jiri except for he's wearing like leather armor and he's
instead of
like
like this?
super buff though.
Oh,
And he like hops down. He's got like a raccoon skin hat on. He's got an axe in his belt. Maybe a bow and arrow strapped to his back, and he hops down from the cork to stand next to you.
so you're not the true Jiri. You're one of the parts he played.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of the parts he's played. One of the most subconscious parts of his memory. And I'm here. I need to meet with you, Roulette. I'm here to ask for your help.
Were you sent by Adras or whoever's been talking inside of Jiri's head?
The Father above, no, he did not send me. I came here on my own.
Oh, okay. Well, what is it you need help with, Jeb Jiri?
Well, you see, we all need your help. Jiri's quite confused. His memories are overlapping one another, and we're not sure. He just not sure what's going on. So we were hoping that maybe you could help him out.
I mean, I've told Jiri this several times. I'm here to help with whatever he needs. Matters of the mind are not my expertise, but puzzling stuff out is kind of what I like to do. So, where am I?
Oh, well, this is part of Jawland here.
Giant sunflowers and all?
Oh, yes, this is called the Wayward Island. This is one of Jiri's favorite places in all of Jawland.
Interesting.
Well, anyway, since you've agreed to help, let me tell you what we need help with. You see, Roulette, there's somebody been tinkering with Jiri's mind. His memories are all mixed up, disorganized. I think there's multiple memories in here. Some of them aren't Jiri's at all. We need you to get in there and view those memories and figure out what's going on. Which ones are really his? Which ones are the true memories? Which one's been tinkered with? And I think it's an inside job. We need you to figure out who's been doing the tinkering.
Was it any chance you think this is a real inside job as far as one of you doing it?
Could be. Not sure. I wouldn't cross off any suspects from the list.
Okay. You just point me in a direction and I'll see what I can figure out.
Excellent. Well, let me give you some words of advice and some words of warning before you get started. Words of warning first. Now, not every one of Jiri's memories down there, not all his characters that he's made up are friendly. Some of them might want ill or wish ill upon you. Let me give you some of the ones to really look out for. First of all, there's childhood Jiri, that little criminal. He'll rob your blind and make you thank him for it, too. Look out for him. He's a rascal. And then there's that little great thing. He crawls around inside Jiri's mind. I've never really been able to talk to him. I'm not sure what he's up to, but he scurries around, and anytime I get close, he runs off. Probably up to no good, if you ask me. Oh, and then there's this human, Rovin. He's been plotting a mutiny against Jiri. Trying to get some of Jiri's characters to team up against him. He's got this shadow with him. I'm not sure what its deal is either. Some powerful memory that's been implanted on Jiri. Look out for that. I wouldn't cross those two. And then last but not least, there's the Jiri himself, the outside Jiri. Now, you know him. He's childish, not very helpful, confusing, chaotic. He's going to be difficult to deal with. You're going to have to convince him that you're on his side. You're there to help. He's not going to cede power lightly. Now, let me give you some words of advice. 2 ways to start. You can either start by looking at his memories, or you can start interrogating some of the suspects. Up to you. But whatever you do, all those memories down there, they have meaning. They're important to Jiri in some way. I wouldn't look past any of them. And last piece of advice, there's one person down there that you can always trust. That's Father Adras, the one you spoke of. Yes, sir. He can be trusted above all others. He is a great and noble patron, our King and Savior, Father Adras. You can trust him. Whatever he says is the law and is the truth.
Okay, so just running through this real quick. Child Jiri, the weird gray thing that's crawling around, the human Rovin, outside Jiri, which is really just grown up child Jiri. Those are the ones on the warning list.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Adras is his word is law and trustworthy. Everything's got meaning. Leave no stone unturned.
Absolutely.
What about Jax?
Jax? Oh no, we banished him long ago. Haven't seen him for quite a while.
I make an insight check.
Sure.
You're welcome to make an insight check. Tim, pilot that how you want to.
Dude.
Oh,
9.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're confused by this, but you know, he seems to be telling you the truth. For all you know, that he hasn't seen Jiri, this version of Jiri hasn't seen Jax in months, as he says.
Okay. You keep saying down. As in down there. Where am I going?
Yeah. Well, I'll show you. And he heads on over to the cork in the ground. He gives it a big kick, and he like bends over and picks it up and pulls it out of the ground. And now there's just like this hole in the stone surface. And you look down, or you can look down into it if you want to.
I will edge closer to it. Actually, I'm gonna try and hover over to it.
You hover over to it and you peer down, and there's just darkness and like storm underneath and flashes of like lightning, kind of similar to like the neural network storm that you've seen before. Down there in Jiri's mind.
Jib, why aren't you in control of Big Jiri?
Oh, I'm not powerful enough to do that. I don't have that many memories. He only played me for a few shows, and that's it. I wish I was in charge, but we gotta let Jiri be Jiri.
Okay. Do I just drop down?
Whenever you're ready. Put it here, Roulette, though, before you go. This is a great help. I'm so happy. Come give me a hug.
I will hover over into a hug with Jiri.
And he gives you a hug, and you do realize that his big muscles are, in fact, like implants. They're inflated.
They squeeze a little too much.
Yes.
Light into it.
Is he like a whoopee cushion, Tim?
A whoopee cushion? Yeah, sure.
There's a little air shoots out. Okay, Jeb. I guess I'll report back with what I find.
All right. Good luck down there. Thanks again, Roulette.
And I will do an aerial backflip and just dive straight down into this hole.
And that's where the dream ends.
Well, that's where Jiri's control of the dream ends. As Roulette, as you jump down and free fall into a storm of surprising color.
Oh, fuck.
Move us to this screen, which I haven't used in a while.
Is there a moment where it goes from flying to falling?
Yes, absolutely. You begin to lose control without Jiri's consciousness present. you are falling into just void of black, but every once in a while, ambient light, magenta, blue, bright pink, and even white at times just emanate out and crackle. And too fast for you to even react, you see the water approaching. You hit, but it doesn't hurt, and you're able to stand up in it. It was deep enough to catch your fall, but now you're standing within it. It's black, but void of any reflection, and it's just rushing current around you, up to your knees in height, and it feels strange. And looking up around you, the ever-present storm of the different colorations of lightning crackle, and amongst them, you hear a voice omnipresent in this space around you. Welcome, Roulette. I don't believe we've had the pleasure of engaging in conversation down here before. Although, your friend Telperion has visited down here a few times. I would like to take the opportunity to grant a small bit of curiosity or insight. I do not understand how what you just witnessed above is possible. I have lent my power to Jiri, and surprisingly, he has learned to use it well, shaping my power to his demands, his creativity. But Jiri's mind is broken. Look around you, you can see it. And crumbling from the sky, it doesn't actually seem like an infinite void of black expanse. There's like sections of debris falling from the sky and splashing into the water around. His mind is broken, and yet, did he guide you above? I don't think Jiri would have been able to guide you in the direction of those individuals. I did not even remember they were memories.
Is it so beyond your own ego that someone else might have power? And I'm actively just like starting to walk around.
Yeah, you're able to slosh around in this thick liquid, but it doesn't feel like you're covering any real distance as you continue to do so. I suspect you may be thinking on a smaller scale than the way I perceive this situation. I claim no desire to wield my own power within Jiri. I wish to heal us both, march us into Daenor, the place where we seemingly melded and perhaps fractured. What I don't understand is, if he is broken in the way I suspect, how is it possible that the Jiri you met above, that version of him, was able to give direction? Perhaps Jiri's subconscious is able to leak through. I can leak through him via him wielding my power. But perhaps he can leak into me as well. This is concerning. Not in an egotistical sense where I feel the need to control power over others, but my control of my power is all I am.
Can I try and fly?
You try and you're lifting off the ground, but the water is like sludge, tacky, and it's rooting you downward. Apologies. I would welcome you the freedom Jiri afforded you above, but we are all restrained by this dreaded form.
What is it you need help with? Fixing his mind?
More thunderstorming. Yes. Go over to that piece of debris over there. I do not know what you may find upon it, but perhaps it can shed insight in some way. Jiri, as Roulette runs over to a piece of falling debris, is there anything specific that might exist on that piece? Reflected in the lightning storm above.
Yes. The brief version of it. Like, does she touch it and like grab it and like relive the memory?
I imagine, Roulette, in your inspection of this thing, you might put hands on it and look into it, and upon seeing a reflection of imagery in the reflection of the cascading lightning storm, I imagine she may get sucked into that memory.
Yeah, she will be walking over and she'll start just having flashes of conversations with Jiri, and we'll be whispering things like sortilege, lightning crash, thunder roar, and just like repeating just random phrases that Jiri has announced while wielding a sword or doing other spells. But she will go over to whatever this shard is and touch it.
And I will say it's a memory that Telperion has also experienced before. It's one of a book, and it's a memory of somebody with red hands reading through this picture book, but like at first you don't realize it's a book. You feel like you're lived, like you're actually in it, that you're living it, that it feels like an actual experience that like you had. But as you like think about it more closely or use your higher level of intelligence, you realize no, this is a scene in a story. There's words that describe the four neighboring kingdoms. The same story that Jiri kind of gave you guys earlier today about how he was kicked out of Jawland for his misdeeds in his youth, and he was forced to travel around Jawland to the different kingdoms to learn his lesson. It's about the different lessons that he learned, the individuals, the unique communities that he experienced them with, and it's in the form of like a picture book, like a child's book. And the memory ends with the book closing and you looking up and you seeing another Air Genasi seated next to the individual, whoever was reading it. And a name comes in to mind when you see it, Aldark. And that's when the memory ends.
What did it show you?
Another fragment or something. Were you there when Jiri found the book way back in, I think it was in Austenus or somewhere? The book that seemingly told the story of Jiri's life?
Yes.
That
And we
novel?
have had... At the time, I thought it was rather strange that he would... This creature I'd bound myself to, unwillingly, has based his whole life on the writings of a novel.
And a picture book, apparently.
Foolish. However, I can't quite recall when it was, but there was a moment when we unlocked a memory from the past. In the days before
or when we melded. There was another man, Aldark, in the prisons with us.
Was he a Air Genasi looking guy? Kind of similar to what Jerry looks like right now?
Yes, there were differences, but yes, similar enough. Strange. It's frustrating. I thought we had mended that piece already. Perhaps Jerry will have to be brought back down here to mend it again. Unless you have some way to try and fit it into place.
I mean, I can. Do you remember this at all? Do you remember having red hands?
No.
A red-skinned creature?
No, although there was a red-skinned creature that walked down here once.
Could I tell?
Long ago. Not long ago, months ago. When Jiri was in the form of Jax. You may not know this. Jax was successful in his journey to Force Hollow. Surprisingly compelled to bury Gallus's axe in into the earth where he lay. But Durast was there and Jax couldn't linger. And Jiri's power began to return. And I think I was simultaneously compelled to aid Jax and Jiri against each other. And there was a red-skinned newt man at Jiri's side. I believe his name was Meko. He aided Jiri in that fight, allowing Jiri to win over Jax. And not long after, Jiri returned to you all in Korital.
General intelligence. I saw the hands of this. I saw red hands holding a book. Could I tell if they were like amphibian-like hands?
Oh yeah, 3 fingers, suction cups on the ends of the fingers.
That's how they were turning the page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whatever memory I was just looking at was from the point of view of this Meko. I guess here, I got a question for you. You're up above me. You see anything else out there with a red creature, a Meko or something?
Not above, only in here. A memory from Jiri's before our melding. Something I've only seen through him, not in my own experience. I am restrained by this form. Everything you see around me is me. I am this. This mind storm is a chaotic tomb I am bound within. I actually relish the moments when Jiri brings me into his consciousness in your travels. Brief moments of freedom.
Well, can you light up where? So here's my thing. Hey, quick question for you. How do I address you? We can come back to that.
A considerate question, considering Jiri's incessant need to call me his, what I have to imagine is an imagined father figure in Adras. Whether he is Jiri or Jiri is another part in a play he currently resides in, I can't speak to. I do not know my own name. Perhaps it lives with the notes of the witch in Daenor, who cursed me to this. For now, simply refer to me as X.
Get the fuck out of my head. Might I make a suggestion? X is a perfect name. When you're working in equations, an unknown variable. So I'll refer to you as X, if that's okay.
I think I prefer Hex.
Oh, Hex. Yeah.
The reason being, and a patterned mind such as yours and your tinkering might appreciate this, in one of the memories restored to us, Jiri's first sight of me was a reflection. I was contained in an arcane glass beaker with the placard reading X3H. Jiri saw it first backwards and it seemed to read X. But X3H, that was my designation.
Okay, Hex. Can I pick up this shard thing?
You're welcome to, and it lifts surprisingly easily. It seemed to have crashed into the water with weight, but you're able to lift it.
One end is like scorched, as if like melted by an extreme heat.
Interesting. Hex, you live down here. You're in and out of these memories all day, all night. Can you point me to where one of those Meko memories might be?
I can try.
A lightning streaks across the sky in a direction.
Good luck.
I'll start trudging my way over there, carrying the piece, attempting to ready my catapult spell.
You're able to get to a piece, and upon looking at it, you can see a memory of what the hex metal described. A fight between Jax and Jiri. This Meko individual at Jiri's side, inspiring Jiri onward in moments of doubt and self-crisis. And with Meko's aid and inspiration, Jiri was able to win victorious against Jax. Jax's form becoming sludge, sinking into this pool of water and slowly moving along in the current towards some location.
Can I see if I go like back in a direction, do I see any like recently scorched areas where this thing that I'm holding may have been a puzzle piece that fell out of?
You go ahead and make a general intelligence check.
General intelligence check.
16's good enough to know the heat of the damaged portion of this memory is something being scorched with plasma, knocked down out of the air by lightning. Whether intentional or unintentional, this self-described mind storm from above is damaging this environment. And the memories are maybe mendable, but heavily damaged in the process.
Anything you can do to fix that?
I can certainly try. And I will take out my dream mending tools, along with my smith's companions, and I will attempt to cool and reform whatever dent or cracks may have formed in that part of the memory.
the memory begins to like the portion of debris begins to like bubble and form into a complete piece. It doesn't restore any additional memory to the piece, but you've mended the puzzle piece that came from the sky.
Do I see a spot where it fits?
Make an investigation check.
Dirty.
The DC was 20. You identify a spot that looks like a fitting slot for this piece.
Hex, any chance you can give me a quick lift?
I'm afraid my powers don't work like that down here. Only through Jiri.
Okay. Having no idea how high it is, I am going to hold this relatively light thing in one hand, and I will upcast catapult to level 3 just to account for potentially any extra weight, and I'm going to attempt to go boop, to cast catapult on the memory to force it to go straight into that spot.
Having successfully identified a space for it, the rest is second nature. Catapulting up in that direction and jamming into place, you see a pulse of neural storm activity emanate from that location, almost like acknowledgement of a piece being reconfigured.
I don't know what effect that may have had, but perhaps ask Jiri upon waking.
Hex, are you controlling this lightning?
I am this. The dreaded form below, along your feet. The neural storm in Jiri's mind, due to my power. We are a symbiotic relationship now, but not harmless to each other.
Doesn't seem so symbiotic if this lightning is damaging these dreams.
He damages me as well.
Again, that's not the definition of symbiotic. It's kind of co-parasitic.
Very well.
I'm just saying, maybe you ease up, Jiri will ease up too.
We have already begun that journey. It will take time.
Okay. Any more of these around here that I can take care of right now?
My magical ability to facilitate Jiri's spell wanes. Perhaps a future night in your dreams.
In a flash of lightning across the sky, and I'd like to give you one perception check as that happens.
Can I give a few extra details from that
Sure.
20 investigation set?
Yeah.
The first memory that you looked at with Meko, the one that was currently attached, the one of Jiri fighting Jax.
Mm-hmm.
The sharpness, the clarity of the neural network, was much clearer, indicating a newer memory. The one that you were holding seemed really old, like fuzzy, foggy. The material it is made out of was cloudy. And then the last thing I'll say is that when you found the right spot for it, there was that pulse that occurred had a reddish hue to it.
Carter, I don't know if this affects anything. I clearly looking at the Aerodon screen right now, I do see 2 different colors of lightning. I don't know if that's any impact on it, but it's definitely something Roulette would have noticed as well.
Yeah, that's continuing to be the case. I just want to see if you can see anything when in a momentary, wow, good roll. As that flash of lightning emanates from the space, briefly silhouetting a single floating figure in the sky, a dark void like writhing flame with 7 great horns coming from its head. And you suspect, as the spell ends, that although omnipresent, the voice was coming from that. And you wake up. And all of you wake up
Long
successfully
rest.
after a long rest completed.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Is there food and drink around to allow us to recover the level of exhaustion? That's what it says in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, you guys will need to snack on your rations and drink some water and basics, but yes, with a long rest, you guys are not starving or dying of thirst, so you guys kind of meet those requirements. You guys can fully click long rest for sure.
Dude, oh my god. It's so fucking cool. Toby, upon waking, is gonna not rush, but be very direct in he wakes up, spends the necessary time praying to get a spell list prepared, and then will start laying out a peaceful area with Rhea at the center of it. And is going to fairly soon begin casting a spell.
Rome would like to aid Toby in this endeavor, or rather, like, watch his work.
Okay. Anything specifically you're doing to that circumstance, Rome?
Say that again?
Anything specific you're physically doing along that, or are you just sidling up near him for observation?
Yeah, like observation and backup if needed. I don't have any like particular spells that could help him in this.
Okay.
Actually, here might be a better question, or a better way of framing it. What was the general like ritual for honoring the dead before burying or burning in the time I spent at Force Hollow and the handful of people I helped lay to rest?
There were only a few in your year, or 2 years. Did we just decide it was a year or 2 years? A little over a year. In your year of time at Forest Hollow, there were only 2 or 3 people that had passed that you aided the burial of. And it was a very simple community event back behind the old abandoned chapel where the graveyard is. A bunch of old dilapidated stone tombstones jammed into the ground. There are a number of individuals buried there. Generally, the body would be buried and everyone would take turns shoveling into the earth and covering their form, usually with words of remembrance.
So instead of creating a divot in the earth to lay them, Toby's going to spend some time, and maybe it might even be better to go inside the temple to find a raised place for him to lay Rhea.
There's the dais where you sang in Celestial.
You guys are welcome to head inside.
I may carry her or ask for help because I'm a weak bitch. Ask for help carrying her and laying her down there. And I've got a meager amount of incense that I will get burning in the room. And we'll get out.
As you guys enter Bullwinkle there, the Minotaur individual allows your and as you emerge carrying Rhea, he just closes his eyes and lowers his head in acknowledgement, and he says,
You may catch some looks from people, but we couldn't keep word from spreading that she died.
Can we use this room here? And can I ask that people don't crowd in? If they need to, they can watch from the halls, but I need some space.
Of course.
I'll go ahead and move you guys to that map.
Yeah, so actually where our tokens are is almost perfect.
And so yeah, he and then Rebecca will catch up, and they will sort of block off this room for your use.
Incense going. If there are candles about, I might ask Telperion or Roulette or Jiri or someone to grab a couple candles. And then Toby will take out the largest diamond we've seen on our journeys, and upon Rhea being laid on the dais, will place the diamond on her chest. I do not seek to overrule, but if she is willing, help guide me. And Toby will cast Enhance Ability on his wisdom, what he derives his casting of magics from. And then he will kneel in front of Rhea on the dais and begin a low chant in Celestial. And I'm going to text that to you, Chris. I would say that, but since no one understands.
You all hear as Toby Rama begins. None of you understand the language of Celestial, but for some of you that were here when Toby Rama sang it long ago, several months ago, in this very location, it sort of takes on, although language that can be spoken, it innately takes on a melodic, resonant sound to its nature, and it reverberates around the area and just is an enchanting noise.
And you'll catch him saying Kelemvor. He'll say Rhea Kurth, her full name, and maybe you might recognize some of the phrases he uses when casting other spells, but as a whole it's pretty new. And for the next hour, mist is going to drift from Toby and converge on the diamond resting on her chest, and it begins to glow brightly. Nearing the conclusion of the hour, the diamond is brilliantly glowing. With Toby's muttering of his final word, the diamond shatters, and the amplification of the magic he had been pouring into it suffuses her entire body. And I will cast Raise Dead.
I will also say, when the diamond shatters, it does not sound like the sound of glass breaking or rock shattering. It sounds like the cold, loud knock of wood on wood, such as a judge's gavel. I will move Toby to another screen. I'll move all of you guys. Got an OG token, which I'll amend here. Toby, your vision immediately goes black, and cool, comforting silver mists surround you and form into the familiar Deva of Kelemvor, who has visited you many times in the past. It appears your judgment has been found acceptable. But note, that only allows you access to the river. The rest will be up to you. And he disperses into mist that dematerializes.
I would have a hope that the gentle repose I cast on her last night, in whatever way you choose to flavor it or describe it, would give him some direction to the soul that he was trying to prevent from moving further on.
You instinctively remember that Rhea was like, before you cast that spell, was likely dead for some 10 minutes or so. You kind of walk up along the shoreline of this fugue river and see the hundreds of ghostly translucent images floating along it, souls that have departed from life and now flow toward the domain of the eternal judge. You instinctively remember this shore and have a indication of when you restored Ezrin to life, he was seconds of flow down the river. She will be farther than that. But if you had paused her flow 10 minutes in, if it's still holding, all you need to do is walk.
And I would like your help in recalling how you described, was there a gate that if Ezrin had passed, I wouldn't have been able to retrieve him from?
You look in the direction and remember where that gate was, but it doesn't seem to exist here.
I'll try and...
Perhaps a different spell being utilized moves where the gate's point of no return exists.
Working very hard to view that as encouragement, Toby will begin a brisk walk. I think he wants to run, but feels it inappropriate.
You walk dutifully along the course of the river's flow, each footfall sort of losing a little bit of traction as it sinks into the brittle, mealy texture, sand, pebble, stone, coarse grain of this shore. And as you walk for 5 minutes, 6, 8, 9. Around the 10-minute mark, and you still cannot see the gate in sight. There, many souls are parting around a single soul that is static, not moving along with the current of the flow. And upon seeing further, it seems to align with Rhea's physicality. Her soul's journey into death locked in place.
Rhea? Can you hear me?
No response. Almost void of features, humanoid in appearance with arms and limbs and a head, but it doesn't move to acknowledge you or indicate any sort of interactability.
Rhea, come to me. Gallus isn't with them anymore. They still need your guidance. You still have work to do. But you have done good by them.
Make
Well,
a
you could-
charisma check. Still no response.
We got Jokel back. He still needs help, but the mission was a success. I don't know if you feel that you have more to do, but the people still need your guidance. If you're ready to embark on this journey, all I ask is that you let me know how to continue guiding them the way that you have, the way that Gallus had. This is how I won't force this on you. But we really want you back.
There's no movement, no change to your surroundings, and you hope your words have found her. But as you remember with Ezrin's recovery, you had to physically retrieve the soul.
Having, I think, adequately expressed my feelings, I'll move out to her.
You begin to wade into the water, and you experience this once, but she's a little farther in than Ezrin was. Please make a wisdom saving throw.
Which enhance ability is just checks, so that would not affect this.
Okay, correct. You wade in 5, 10 feet in. She's only about 10 feet out ahead of you, but you do suffer 11 points of necrotic damage as the Fugue River is siphoning away your life essence, you being a living creature in it.
Am I able to resist
You are welcome
this?
to continue.
Or,
You
like,
are
my
trying to
natural-
resist it. You don't think your composure is enough to push past its effects.
I will continue to push
You will
towards
need
her.
to move an additional 5 feet to reach her.
I will do that, and as I get to her, I'm gonna show you the way back. If that's not the path you want to go, then you don't have to follow me, but I'll show you the way.
Upon reaching her, the river still siphoning parts of you away, just your life essence. Please make an insight check. This does get advantage because of your enhanceability. Just get the general roll here. You are able to retrieve her form. It feels immaterial, but you're able to make contact with it. And as you begin to move away, pulling her with you, something feels deeply wrong to you about trying to bring her spirit with you.
Does it seem external to her?
There's something about your movement with her is like a jarring spike in your mind. Something's wrong.
I intentionally prepared this magic today. I'll try and cast Remove Curse on her spirit.
You are welcome to do so. And your magic feels like it takes place.
If I try to move further, do I still get that spike of...
We'll say at this
wrongness?
point you've moved as far as back to the shore with her, and I need you to make one more wisdom saving throw for me. Oops. One more. We will take half of 16 at just 8 necrotic damage. And as you make your way back to shore, you're not sure if it's just lingering in your mind from what you initially felt or if it's still there in some regard, but you have retrieved her. You are at the shoreline out of the river.
I will start carrying her back the somewhat lengthy walk to the origin of the river.
Okay. You are able to do so, and where you came from is just, it begins to fade into darkness. And as you continue walking, your eyes snap open. And for all of you, this happened in an instant. This was not minutes at a time that Toby Rama was gone. Rather, at the crack of the diamonds bursting on Rhea's chest, Toby Rama's eyes lit in silver light. And you find yourself here. And Rhea's eyes flicker open.
Toby was kneeling and kind of falters and has to place his hand on the ground and stable him. And I don't know what Rhea will do, but it might take Toby a little more time to compose himself.
Upon opening her eyes, Rhea crooks her neck, sort of shambles to a sitting position, and falls off the dais, and then rights herself, standing on her 2 feet, wobbly.
Rhea, what's wrong?
She's just mouth agape, strange, disconcerting posture, looking at you.
Can I open myself to trying to find undead creatures?
You open your awareness, and like a beacon before you, Rhea glows, not restored to life, but an unwilling soul brought back anyway. You have accidentally cast the spell Animate Dead instead of Raise Dead by attempting this on an unwilling soul.
Toby will start, like, tears coming down his face, and go into giving her a hug and will use a channel divinity to try and destroy this undead creature.
A flash of silver light emanates from you and blinds anyone in visible space. And as your vision comes back to you, drifting ash into the ground. And Toby Rama, only in your mind, you hear the strike of a gavel that just echoes like a knock in your mind.
I think Toby will fall to the ground, hands on the floor, and start sobbing.
What just happened? Only Rhea and Bullwinkle are within line of sight with all this happening.
Rebecca?
What's going on? I don't understand. She stood up. It worked, and then now she's gone. Toby? What'd you do?
I think
And
he'll
she
try
just
and-
sinks to her knees in defeat.
He'll choke out through the gasps and the cries. She was so tired. So tired of fighting. She wanted to rest.
Rebecca trying to hold back tears, but her breath sort of instinctively gasping. Bullwinkle just has his eyes shut. You said you'd have good news for us. This doesn't feel like that.
Baron's gonna go over and nudge Toby. Come on. There's others we need to help.
Roulette will make her way back out to the ruins and start taking out the Tome of the Dragon Sword. And with a double Rastim, we'll take out the statues of Jokel and the other elven
Wood elf
statue.
woman.
Oh, at this point, I'm gonna let or what's his name, Mindirin out. Didn't really feel.
Sure, I
Yeah.
almost imagine you may have done that last
Yeah,
night.
we just kind of
Yeah.
glazed over that because other
Yeah,
narrative
for
beats
sure.
happening.
But he eagerly greets those of the other wood elves that had found shelter here. You create the statues out of the book, Roulette.
Toby, I think you've done this once or twice before. Can you de-statuify our friends here?
Before you try, I'm gonna come over and just like probably squat down to wherever you're grieving. Well, I've never communed with the dead before, and I've never ruled anything before, but one thing I know from watching my mother govern is that just because you have great power doesn't mean you can accomplish everything you want. But there are definitely other things you can still do that will be meaningful. So rally yourself and know that you haven't failed. And we can do much good by restoring these two.
Not really ceasing the crying, Toby will use Telperion to try and get to his feet.
I like half lift you off the ground for a minute. Put you right.
And he'll slowly walk outside. And it was, I guess it must have been lesser restoration that I used back once upon a time. On petrified creatures.
Would my deduce know that?
I'm looking it up because I don't think lesser restoration
The greater.
cures yeah, only greater restores petrification, not lesser. So I don't recall lesser accomplishing
Yeah, no.
that effect in the past.
It is. No. It's 200 or more.
Well, I gotta wait now. 'Cause it's not me who's doing this, it's
Toby,
and you see some real frustration on Toby's face.
Toby, you say that, and instinctively, you feel you've only lost a third level spell slot. The spell slot for Animate Dead rather than Raise Dead, with it being unsuccessful.
I'll turn to Roulette. I wish this would take me 3 days and not 2. Because if it took me 3 days, that would mean I'd like to spend today working with you to see if we can fix Jokel's hand before I restore him.
Of course, let's.
But if I feel like it can't happen, then I'll restore him as he is. But so for right now, I'd like to restore the elf and spend today communing with.
I've been thinking about his hand anyway, so I'll get to work lining out what we can do there. So take care of the elf first, and I'll. Telperion, can you help me move Jokel real quick? And I'll move Jokel off to the side somewhere. And I will start getting to my notes and recalling back to deduce and figuring out what the best way to use Toby's stone shape ability and my mending to restore Jokel's busted up hand.
Okay.
But yeah, Toby, go take care of that elf.
Just very shoulders dropped, like real dejected, but he pulls a pouch of what you quickly see is diamond dust, and he'll start sprinkling it over the form of the elf.
This elf was hurt too, though, right? The statue was cracked in the back.
There was some minor cracks and flecks of debris, but it wasn't as injured and wrecked as Jokel's. Jokel suffered more damage.
Okay, I will ask you to come check the small cracks that are there.
Oh, sure. I will come over and I will, as Toby is preparing, I will do minor mendings where I can. Basically practicing for when I want to do the bigger stuff on Jokel. And I will also just get Cure Wounds prepared for immediately after Greater Restoration is completed.
You're certainly welcome to do so. Greater Restoration being cast, Toby.
Yes, and once he has taken kind of half of the pouch that he had and kind of pressed it on top of the stone and tried to get it to stick to different places, will, with so little tone in his voice, spend a few seconds casting a spell, and the flecks of diamond will glow brightly and then dim, but not because the magic is finishing, but because the dust is going into the stone. And I will cast Greater Restoration.
As the glowing dust dims, seeping into the stone, you can see in each location where the dust resides, it interjects coloration into this individual. And over the course of 6 seconds or so, full coloration takes this woman. Her dark auburn hair becoming visible, darker than Rebecca's, but classical for a wood elf. And it begins to grip her chest where some of the wounds had been mended, but there is still blood. And Roulette gonna hit her with a Cure Wounds.
I'll throw 2 at her. First level.
Her panic subsiding quickly as her wounds are restored. Where am I? Who are all of you?
I'll step forward to kind of catch her a little bit, and then greet her in Megovonen, and then in Elvish just kind of explain where she's at, and just like kind of slowly just try to stabilize her shock.
Her shock slowly stabilizes. She tells you that her name is Pelura. And just sort of acknowledges what you're all saying immediately. First of all, she's sheepish and skittish, but then clearly around people who mean her well, not ill. The others at Aenalad. Did any make it out?
There are a few survivors. We rescued Mindiran from the camp with you. We traveled with
good.
elves named Fennin and Yuri for some time.
Oh, God.
Yuri's alive.
Yeah, who's he to you?
It's my sister's firstborn. Where is he here?
I'm just going to leave these two to their Jokel work, and I will take her to reunite her with the rest of the Wood Elves.
We love Yuri.
And they reunite tearfully, both with Mindiran returned to them yesterday, or earlier today, and now Pelura. Yuri recognizes her immediately as his aunt, his mother's sister, leaps into her arms, some kin restored. And they have tender greetings and jubilant reunion.
I think seeing, not following them in, but at least the initial reaction, seeing some sort of positive outburst or just significant emotion I think will allow me to try this, but what would feel appropriate as a check or saving throw for whether Toby is able to get through his like dejected feeling of what he perceives as failing? Would that be wisdom or?
Yeah, I think it's not an intelligence or even charisma competency based thing. Yeah, wisdom seems appropriate. Just a straight wisdom check. And you are enhanced in your wisdom right now. I'm not going to set the DC for that.
I might need to think on that and play through that, but certainly after some time, kind of sitting, leaning against one of the pillars outside, Toby will start showing Roulette how his magic works, what it does, and so on and so forth. I can do Stone Shape 3 times today. I can give myself some enhanced ability, some proficiency and skills, and I'll let Roulette guide that. So.
Roulette's just going to map out all the big stuff that she knows she can't handle, to delegate to Toby and his stone-shaped magic, showing where to focus stuff on, while she handles a lot of the smaller, mendable stone pieces that she collected from the fallen statue when we were in the Thane's office.
Okay. I would like both of you, over the course of the rest of this day, utilizing your spell casting to mend Jokel, to each please make a spellcasting ability check using your intelligence, your wisdom.
Would I be able to get advantage if I'm casting enhance ability throughout the day, or throughout the period of this?
Yes, for each casting of Stone Shape, for example, you can give your if you had spent do me a favor, mark off 2 second level spell slots for enhanced ability, and then that'll buy you advantage on this check.
Okay.
I'm just going to assume we're staying here the whole day.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the case, especially if Toby Ron wants to try and mend Jokel, restore Jokel tomorrow.
I also don't think Toby would be willing to head inside yet.
Okay. With a 16 and a 17, you guys knit together the cracks in Jokel's statue form. You think even the subdermal, not visible cracks from mending his fingers and half of his hand onto each other seem successful. We'll see how well that goes. But I guess this could be a good spot to end things, and we can tackle the rest of this day here at Braves Respite next time, as well as another long rest and potential restoration of Jokel, along with whatever other information needs to be shared here.
Oh, last thing I'll do, and I'll text you it. I will. Nope, never mind. That was today. Never mind.
Jiri will start telling the story to everybody, though. He'll gather an audience, and we can cover that next time, I guess. But that's what he'll be doing while you guys are repairing the statues.
Perfect. I would also like to preemptively, usually I take a vote, but you guys have spent so many inspiration dice over the past couple sessions to make sure things go well. I think it's earned 2 inspiration going out today, and I want to give it to Timothy and Michael Kennedy for some amazing dream sequence stuff and amazing emotional stuff from both of you guys in those situations.
I wrote this down. I picture, as we sort through Jiri's situation, that it's like his mind is Gruntilda's lair, and we have to put all the puzzle pieces back for each level to figure out each personality, and those are the worlds within.
Like Banjo-Kazooie, love that.
We have to put the pieces back together before we sort out the personalities that are going on. Dude, I am so blown away because it always catches me off guard because of how simple-minded you play Jiri and portray that well, that it always blows me away how well thought out it appears to be, that what it is Jiri is, and every new tidbit is like, oh wait, holy shit.
Just scratching the surface.
It was very well performed, Tim.
Thank you.
Very well.
Very well done. I would also like to give Tim a shout out just because many of us have DM'd a lot, but I know Tim has DM'd for us so much that I'm like, Dream is this perfect little spell for like, I don't have to have authorship of that stuff. You go be a co-DM for an hour. Like, that's kind of what it feels like, is all right, now you're running the show. It's very, very fun and awesome. And then
Shout out, well, if I could give inspiration to you, Chris, I would, because you did a really great job with both covering the Dream for me, but then also the stuff with like Toby was really pretty impactful as well. So definitely big shout out to you as well.
Appreciate it. Also, I know